music by the Motown Machine.
What up, everybody? How you doing?
Father Joe Newman Fest raises awareness and funds for Logan Protective Services. Don't wait. Get your tickets today at any Logan location or order online at logancenter.org. The cost is $25. You'll enjoy a buffet catered by Monterey Mexican Grill, accompanied by unlimited music and dancing.
That come through your computer or mine?
Yeah, because I had JQ.
And prizes round out the fun. Here's
Well,
all you need to know.
It came through, I think it came through that computer.
2 to 6 p.m.
Okay, I'll look.
Fest, a good time for a good
Because I had that computer.
Shouldn't. Oh, it's on Twitch. Okay, got it.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's largest mortgage lender.
Got your technology in order there, Casey?
Mortgage interest rates have dropped. So if you're thinking
Using a new
about buying
browser.
home, right
Oh,
now
is that what it
lock
is?
that
Yeah.
low rate, even before you find the
It's
home
all
of your
brand
dreams.
new.
With our exclusive Rate Shield approval, the low rate you lock today is protected for up to 90 days while you shop for your new home. With a Rate Shield approval, if rates go up, your low rate stays locked.
Remember not to say anything bad about China.
Lower rate. Either way, you win.
Did you see I posted on Facebook the new Colin Kaepernick meme?
Here's another great
Believe in something unless it upsets the Chinese government.
JD Power has ranked
Just do it.
highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for private
Traffic is already backed up on the bypass. No kidding. Never heard that before. Hey, Tracy, how you doing?
Our exclusive Rate Shield approval. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Ellen liked it. Nice.
JDPower.com. Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
All right, here we go.
From the first step to the final phase, industrial and commercial electrical done right. This is Casey Hendrickson on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, your breaking news and weather station.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595. 95.3. That is 2595953. You can also send a text message to 45364. And please put MNC at the beginning of that message, just so I know you're chatting at me. I want to thank our sponsor, Second Amendment Arms and Range, located in New Carlisle. Of course, if you mention me, you get 50% off your range time. Go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information. All right, I want to talk about sports betting because there's a couple of interesting things. I had like a kicker topic for today, and then it ended up being like a real topic because our old buddy Mitch Daniels decided to do some interesting things with Purdue. So sports betting at Indiana casinos attracted, because this is all new, remember, attracted $34 million in its first month. Okay? 1 month, not a year. Be impressive if that was actually a year, but no, $34 million in the first month. Sports betting just, folks, it's one of those things that it makes it more exciting for many people, okay? There are a lot of people out there who don't root for a specific team, or they're really into football or baseball or whatever sport they bet on, but they don't really pay attention to anything outside of that team, and so they bet on those, and that makes it more interesting. So it actually helps the leagues because more people pay attention to it because they have a stake in it. Obviously, if it's your team, you have a stake in it because you're a fan. But if you're not, I'm purely speaking as somebody who comes from Las Vegas, by the way. Just please understand that. We have no team loyalty whatsoever. So this is just one of those things that generates revenue, right? It always does, okay? And I know that a lot of people didn't want sports betting because some people have this weird notion that sports betting ruins sports or some other nonsense. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. It seems to go the opposite direction. We see that more sports betting actually improves ratings and actually gets more interest in the game. But the real issue is, will it make you money? And if it makes you money, it doesn't make you enough money that this is actually a big net positive for you, okay? The Indiana Gaming Commission says the opening month of sports betting in Indiana casinos attracted $34.5 million in wagers. Data released Thursday by the commission showed football was the most popular sport with 20.7 million in bets, or 60% of the wagers. The Northwest Indiana Times reported that football was followed by parlay wagers on the outcome of multiple games or sports, baseball, and other sports. Okay. So now they've got all the numbers broken down and everything at 953mnc.com if that interests you. if you're a numbers geek. Not all casinos started accepting sports wagers on the first day available for betting, so the amount wagered, no doubt, will grow in the coming months. Also, online sports betting began this month in Indiana through 2 companies with mobile sports wagering apps, and several more are set to go online soon. Indiana's share of the sports betting proceeds in September was $813,000. Okay, so that's Indiana's share. So Indiana got 813 grand profit out of this. So that's just 1 month. All right, that's a lot of money. I mean, you're almost at $1 million a month if you're the state of Indiana at this point in time. We'll see how that holds up over time. Yeah, the novelty could wear off, although it generally doesn't wear off anywhere else that this is done. Okay, it's one of the reasons that I was telling you that this was a good idea for Indiana economically. Okay, this may potentially have a tie-in with a story that we will do a little bit later about teacher pay in the Hoosier State. Now, this is where things all of a sudden go from, oh, crap, we made a lot more money than I thought. That's pretty good. Indiana can certainly pay some bills that way, rebuild the rainy day fund, that sort of thing. I don't know, maybe cancel the gas tax. Ha! I know, it's never going to happen. But then you have Purdue. And let's be perfectly honest. I love you Boilermakers. I really do. But y'all do weird stuff, okay? You're just an oddball bunch of people. And I don't know why that is. You just do weird things periodically. When I'm talking about crazy stories with colleges in Michiana or affiliated with Michiana, there's a lot of dumb stuff that happens at like Michigan and Notre Dame and IU and everything else. The weird off-the-wall basket case stuff always comes out of Purdue every single time. So I don't know what it is, okay? I honestly have no idea what it is, but it always comes out of Purdue. Indiana is one of 13 states to have legalized sports betting, but that doesn't mean that everyone in Indiana can bet on any game. Let's say you're an employee or a student at Purdue University. Whatever you do, don't bet on Purdue games, regardless of whether you pick the Boilermakers to win or lose, and regardless of the spread or the over-under. How come? Because in the not-so-distant future, you could be fired from your job or kicked out of school. Now, at that point in time, I'm just sitting here looking at this and I'm going, Mitch, Mitch, what is wrong with you? You know what? You think it's possible to get him on? I haven't talked to Mitch in a couple of years. It's been a while. I think maybe I can place a phone call. Mitch should talk to me because I am from Las Vegas. And if nothing else, he can ask me some questions that he probably isn't going to get answers to. Now, this is strange. And shall we say, legally tenuous. So Purdue is basically saying, hey, you're legally allowed to gamble in the state of Indiana, but we're not going to let you. Okay. There's a couple of things. First off, there's an old argument that if you bet on college sports, you will somehow, some way pervert the purity of college athletics, because nothing nefarious happens in college athletics. I don't think I did cover the thing with California actually letting athletes get paid for their image being used, which, by the way, I support, because most of those athletes don't have scholarships, by the way. And if somebody's going to make millions of dollars by putting you in their video game or whatever, you should catch a little scratch for that if you don't have free schooling. It's my opinion. I know that some of you disagree with that. But if you're going to go ahead and tell your employees and tell your students that they can't do something that is a legal activity in the state, and you also receive taxpayer dollars, you're going to run into a problem. And that's kind of where they're at. But again, the old logic is that if you bet on college, it's going to allow some kind of nefarious plot, like the mob is going to fix the games and things of this nature. And it generally doesn't happen. You do run into a couple of stories like that, usually involving referees in various leagues every year, but it's really not as widespread as what people think. But there's always that fear that that's going to happen. So I'm as devil's advocate, figuratively, I guess, as devil's advocate, Purdue is worried that being able to bet on Purdue games could lead to a couple of problems. For instance, You could have some professors changing grades of various student athletes to help or hurt the team. You could have players doing the same thing, maybe throwing the games for profits and things of that nature. So I get the roundabout logic of why Purdue might find this to be somewhat problematic. Okay, I get that. The feasibility of that being reality in team sports, though, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. These are things that are easily tracked down. If all of a sudden somebody doesn't make the team or something of that nature, it's pretty easy to find. So it doesn't seem to pass the smell test when you look at it. And then you have the legal arguments against it, which, by the way, Sports Illustrated kind of got into. And we'll talk about that coming up on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Weather served up by the Prime Table in Niles. 26 years of
Every news alert I get's an anti-Trump news alert. Isn't that weird?
people.
So weird.
Table today for breakfast, lunch, or
Alrighty.
Home comfort experts, heating specialists, 5-day forecast.
Widespread showers for today with some heavy rain possible at times and very windy conditions.
What's up, Oberos?
30 to 40 miles per hour.
Tracy's in first place. Look at that. Nice.
Our temperatures start to drop through the evening, and for tonight, it gets as cold as 36 degrees, and that's going to lead to our first chance of frost for tonight. Temperatures tomorrow warm up to about 50 degrees. We'll still see plenty of sunshine, but the breezy conditions are going to leave it feeling even cooler. For Sunday, will be right around 56 degrees. Still a lot of great sunshine in that forecast.
Yeah, it was an $800,000. I mean, yeah, a little bit over that, but yep, that was the cut. Now, again, $34 million in wagers were placed. Obviously, a lot of those people won. It doesn't say what the take was on there, but there was $34 million in there. But yeah, so Indiana got about 800 and some odd $1,000. So. Okay, you do love the Golden Knights. That's true, but the Golden Knights are still brand new. And the Golden Knights are awesome, and I would like to remind everybody that I was alone in the dark when I was in Las Vegas telling everyone that they would welcome a hockey team with open arms, and nobody believed me.
Each attendee will get a copy of Brian's brand new book, Sam Houston. That is a pre-release copy. You'll actually have that before the public can buy it. And tickets are available now at 953mnc.com or at the 953 MNC studio at 37 Edison Road in Mishawaka.
What's the Vibes URL? Do you know?
Again, that's
offhand.
Saturday, November 2nd, presented by Final
Vibecm.com.
Vibecm.com.
When those giant scissors come out for a grand opening ceremony,
And then it's
the staff
Oh,
that's in the photo.
is this on the internet?
Behind the scenes of many office
Well, I'm gonna-
build are numerous contractors
Hold on a second.
tirelessly taking dreams from
And we're back.
522-4444. Let us
Like I
take
said,
the guesswork
new browser.
out of your project and help you sleep easy. You've got better things to do. Let us hook you up. Find Final Things Electric on Facebook or visit finalthingselectric.net.
This message is for
messages.
all those stream-happy, data-loving smartphone junkies out there.
Oh, millennials, we're not talking about you. We're talking about the
Casey, Mitch Daniels has always had a hard-on against gambling. I know he has. We went round and round about it a couple of times, but
Introducing Unlimited 55 only from T-Mobile. If you're 55 or older, you can get 2 lines of unlimited everything for just $70 a month with AutoPay. That's right, 2 unlimited.
I know. Poor Greta didn't win the Nobel Peace Prize for not doing anything peaceful. So weird.
Or crank your playlist to 11 because
Although the PM of
don't settle for
We have a
prices
C work.
that are
He said
all
works.
talk.
Okay.
Join us today and see for
the
yourself.
PM of Ethiopia did,
Most love Brandon Wire.
and one of my Uber drivers in DC really likes the guy. So there's that.
In Indiana, that's $67.59 rate plan plus $241 taxes and fees. See in-store materials for specifics. Qualifying credit required.
Summer's winding down. Yep. Cooler temps, the leaves are changing and dropping, and prices are always low. At R&B Car Company, voted Michiana's #1
Yibbity.
dealer. Come see why we are where you ought to be. No matter your need, with over 600 vehicles to choose from and fast and friendly service, you'll love driving. So drop the
Well, she's been suicidal for a couple of years, comment. So as much as I don't want that to happen, the likelihood that it will happen, especially since they're exploiting her, is very high.
With Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch Ultra Cover 2X spray paint. It delivers twice the coverage of other brands and is available in over 100 colors and finishes. Right now, 12-ounce cans are just $2.99 each. Save on all of your projects during Menards Oktoberfest sale. Going on now through October 12th.
I wonder if Facebook will let me sell CBD lotion on their website.
At first, it was just an annoyance, but then it started affecting my daily life.
So Facebook today, I created the shop on my Facebook page today for the first time.
That's when I learned about robotics.
Facebook today flagged one of my tactical Christmas stocking listings. It got rejected. So, like, what? Of all things to not approve, it's basically a giant sock that you put things in, for crying out loud.
E-Sig works.
Yes.
News Talk 95.3 MNC.
Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I will get back to Purdue here in just a second, but first I've got to tell you about Naturals CBD lotion. I was given some of this lotion a couple of weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, and the idea was that I was going to test it for a week, and we would find out if it was a product that I deemed worthy of endorsement. As you know, I only endorse things that I actually use on this program. So they gave me two different strengths of the CBD lotion, the 250 milligram and the 500 milligram. Now, keep in mind, this is naturally occurring full spectrum CBD. It's not isolate. And in full spectrum is what you want. And one night, middle of the night, massive neck pain, woke me up in the middle of the night, very sore, couldn't go back to bed, said, I got this lotion here, I'm going to try it. Within a few minutes, the pain was gone. I was able to go back to sleep. A couple days later, my wife said the same thing about some pain that she had in the middle of the night, and I was sold. That's it. Now, you can get Naturals CBD lotion. I have a new website for you today, allnaturalcbd.org, allnaturalcbd.org. Use coupon code KC10 to save yourself 10%. Comes in 250 milligrams or 500 milligrams strength. It's a 120 milliliter bottle. That is twice as strong, but half the price of competitors that you see around town. And it is all made right here in the United States of America. Again, allnaturalcbd.org. All right. What else do we have here? Purdue. Okay, so Purdue. Indiana, one of 13 states, legalized sports betting. Purdue now says faculty, students, you can't bet on Purdue games. Not going to happen. Like I said, I understand some of the logic in why they believe this could be problematic. As many of you pointed out, Mitch Daniels has always hated gambling. I know. And he and I chatted about it several times. I know. I think one of the first interviews I had with Mitch Daniels was I asked him when he was going to legalize gambling. He wasn't very happy about it. On Thursday, the Board of Trustees for the West Lafayette-based public university, this is critical now, approved the adoption of so-called sports wagering policy. The policy applies to all faculty, staff, and non-athlete students. Purdue student athletes and coaches, like those at other colleges, are already barred from betting on sports by the NCAA rules. Okay, Purdue's new policy expressly prohibits gambling on sporting events involving Purdue teams, coaches, and/or student athletes. It governs wagers made in person as well as bets made online and through mobile technologies. The university's statement does not offer reasoning behind the policy's adoption. It notes the urging of faculty members and staff in the athletics department to pursue a policy, but that's about it. Now, the problem with this is they may not have a legal leg to stand on here. And if you look at Sports Illustrated, they did a fairly good job of kind of breaking this down with several cases, including Murphy versus the NCAA, They also talk about Indiana's law, which is HB 1015. It permits people who are 21 or older to bet on sports at brick and mortar sports books, at casinos, racetracks, through the internet and mobile devices. So you have not only state law, but you've got federal law that seems to back up that you can't really restrict this. Now, there could be an argument, I suppose, against employees telling the students that they're not able to do it. That could be a little bit more problematic. But even with the employees one, it's very, very, very strange. So Sports Illustrated notes that the Indiana law allows betting on NCAA Division I sports in addition to professional sports. Betting on esports, however, is not allowed. Okay, esports are video games. This is a distinction from New Jersey's sports betting statute. In Jersey, it is lawful to bet on pro teams, but not any college games that occur in New Jersey. Now, in contrast, in Indiana, an adult, again 21 or older, can bet on college sports, including games played by Notre Dame, Indiana Hoosiers, Ball State, Butler, Evansville, Valparaiso, and Purdue, unless, of course, he or she is employed by Purdue or goes to school there and wants to bet on a Boilermaker game per this policy. So, how are they going to fight this thing? And that's another thing, too. It's probably going to cost some money. So people are going to probably sue over this, and you would assume that that is going to be the case. Sports Illustrated writes, logistical issues present an obvious hurdle for Purdue. How can the university ban an activity that it probably can't detect? In theory, the university could monitor internet activity on university servers and learn when a person is accessing a website used for placing sports bets. Of course, the university policy doesn't prohibit all sports betting, only against Purdue, or on Purdue, I should say. So if you log on to one of these betting websites and you are betting on an MMA fight, but Purdue flags you as having gone to one of these betting sites, they can't really do anything about it unless they have proof that you actually bet on a Purdue-related event. Okay, so enforcing this doesn't appear to be something that can actually happen. University would often, if not most of the time, flag legal activity by members of the Purdue community on betting websites. Even if the university could somehow discern when bets on Purdue games are made, it's not clear the university would always know the identity of the person placing the bet. Of course, many of you who listen to this program, you've got computer backgrounds just like I do, and you assume that a lot of college kids do as well, and it's not going to take very long for them to learn how to defeat this, even if Purdue had the capability. Okay, a person might use a campus visitor or using guest accounts. He or she might also take steps to cloak their online identity, including through the use of virtual private networks. This person could also simply use their wireless network in lieu of the campus network. The list of ways around detection seem long and not particularly hard to figure out, especially if you're going to Purdue. And let's face it, most people who go to Purdue probably have fairly decent intelligence. Most, although we did hear about a couple here recently who don't. The university is also unlikely to gain cooperation from casinos and retail sports books to voluntarily turn over customer files, which, again, they're not bound to do by law because this is a legal activity in the state of Indiana. Those operators have no legal obligation to turn over those records. Similarly, Purdue has no subpoena power or a credible legal argument to require that private companies do so. The Indiana Gaming Commission, meanwhile, is not a private security firm. It is a state agency that will enforce state law. It will not enforce unique university laws. So, okay, so we have this thing written down in spirit, I guess, but you're going to have people narking on other people in order for Purdue to even find out about this stuff. This is basically an honor code thing. Now, people are discovered with the honor code. There's no doubt about that. But I would assume that somebody who is really good at getting around this stuff, which it doesn't take much skill to get around, by the way, is probably going to make themselves a nice little bit of side scratch, helping people gamble on Purdue activities. Let's see. Universities, including public ones such as Purdue, have significant discretion to use conduct policies for members of their communities. This is true in regards to suspicious academic behavior, disruptive or unruly acts, possession of firearms, electronic recordings, and other activities that might not run afoul of the law, but again, could be on the campus. The problem is that they're not going to be able to enforce this. And then we've got legal cases in which people were prevented from betting, which was a legal activity, and they go to court, and guess what? the people who prevented the betting lose. So if Purdue actually enforces this, being a public university, they would probably have a stronger argument being a private university, but because they're a public university, it's going to be extremely difficult for them to make the case and actually win in a court of law, which means people are going to have a pretty good success rate in being able to rebuff their legal arguments. All right, go to the phone lines here real quick. Jackson, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Yeah, let's say you're a janitor and you're in for the university and you go to Vegas and you put down $20 during the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
How are they going to know?
They're not. I think that this policy pertains, they're not going to know if you do it in the state, but I think it pertains to you doing it in the state in particular. I think the gambling has to originate in the state.
I mean, the way I read it is if you're employed by the university in any capacity and you place a bet on Purdue, you get terminated.
Yeah, I mean, well, it might. I'm going to have to pull up the language of the actual policy and look at it because you could be right. Okay, so the policy bans faculty, staff, non-athlete students across the university system from gambling on sporting events involving any Purdue. Yeah, I mean, you're right. Yeah. It doesn't say within the state of Indiana. You're right. So yeah, there's no way for you to know. They can't enforce it if you do bet in the state of Indiana. It certainly can't if you go to Vegas or Atlantic City or any one of the other 20,000 locations you can legally gamble. So.
Yeah, so you're just walking by the, circus, and you plop down $20, and you have how is that enforceable?
It's not.
People following every person?
It's not, and that's just it. If you get caught, then you can sue. So let's say you get caught, and they kick you out of school. Well, you file a lawsuit, and then you go to your state courts. Your state courts go, well, it's state law. You're a public institution. This is state law. They're a legal adult. They can gamble. So, yeah, this is not a wise policy, and I get that Mitch Daniels doesn't like gambling. I like Mitch a lot, personally. It's just that...
I do, too.
He's a little wrong-headed on... I'm not going to put all the blame on him, okay? He's obviously the president, but he's not the only one that went along with this. And they just don't have a leg to stand on here.
Are they just trying to maybe scare some people that might or might not? And just saying, you know what, I just don't want to hassle with it and...
You could argue that they are making a scare tactic here for young students who don't want to risk their education. Sure. Absolutely.
Hey, I got a good defense.
What's that?
For the IU-Purdue football game to say I didn't bet on Purdue, I was betting on Indiana.
See? There you go.
I can't help who Indiana was playing.
Well, it did say betting for or against, so they probably counted anyway.
Yeah, but say I put a bet on the Hoosiers.
I hear you, man. All right.
I didn't know who they were playing.
I got to roll, but I appreciate the call.
Later.
All right, take care. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
This is Michiana's breaking
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, and 95.3MNC.com.
MNC News Time is 3:33. I'm Brooklyn Beatty in the MNC News Center with our top local stories this afternoon.
Hey, she didn't get blown out.
Fetal remains discovered in Illinois in the case of Dr. Ulrich Klopfer.
Attorney General Curtis Hill added more details to the story as the discovery early this week left a lot of questions. They were found in a car that was owned by the late abortion doctor that was parked at a business property. The total numbers of discovered remains at the scene, 165, which now brings the total of remains found to 2,411. Just last week, the first remains discovered were sent to St. Joseph County for storage and processing. It's unknown if or when that will happen with the latest find.
That's 95.3 MNC's Carl Stutzman reporting. A former Kosciuszko County sheriff has died. Cassius Allen Rovenstein, better known as Al, passed away Thursday morning at an assisted living facility in Warsaw. He served 4 terms as sheriff in the 1970s, 80s, and 90s. Details on his arrangements have not been made public. And the president of Notre Dame has been reelected to serve another term in the office.
The Reverend John Jenkins will conclude his third 5-year term on June 30th. Friday morning, the University of Notre Dame Board of Trustees elected him to a 4th term during their fall meeting on the campus. Chairman John Brennan said the president's insight, wisdom, and steady hand have allowed Notre Dame to expand its research portfolio and has fostered global growth for the school. Jenkins said that he was honored by the confidence the trustees have shown to him, and he looks forward to accomplishing more in the future.
Mine's had a nasty cough.
MNC's Tommy Lee reporting. MNC News Time is 3:35.
Fox News, I'm Richard Jordan. The White House is threatening powerful sanctions against Turkey. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin says if imposed, they would shut down the Turkish economy.
Again, I want to emphasize...
Yeah, her parents will be the ones to blame, 100%. 100%.
Offensive against the Kurds in northern Syria. The U.S. will deploy more troops to the Middle East.
Defense Secretary Mark Esper announced roughly 2,000 additional troops would be heading to Saudi Arabia in the coming weeks, including 2 squadrons of F-15 fighter jets and 2 Patriot anti-missile batteries. Esper said the deployment is aimed at deterring Iran in the wake of the recent attack on Saudi Arabia. Last month, Iran attacked 2 Saudi oil plants.
Well, those fires in California are wild.
According to U.S. officials.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson at the Pentagon. The Dow up more than 450 points on news of a partial agreement between the U.S. and China. Reports suggest the U.S. will provide some tariff relief while China agrees to some agricultural concessions. America's listening to Fox News.
Weather sponsored by
The Prime Table Kids. If you need an awesome breakfast, head over to the Prime Table. Breakfast served all day.
It's 5-Star Life Radio. Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialists, first warning forecast.
Rainy and windy today with temperatures warming up to 69 degrees. That cold front moves through this afternoon, starting to drop our temperatures. And by tonight, we cool down to 36, and that will give a chance for frost possible as well. Tomorrow, breezy with a high of 50 and plenty of sunshine. And the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emma Kennedy.
This is Hoosier Ag Today. I'm Eric Pfeiffer with the closing farm market report. The markets moved away quickly from yesterday's bearish supply and demand report for corn that dragged soybeans and wheat lower as well. Moving on now to weather and the potential for frost across much of the Corn Belt this weekend. East corn erased all of yesterday's losses and added a little, up 17.5 on the December at 397 3/4, 407.
Oh, we only got 11 thumbs ups, guys. Come on.
Novi beans up 12.5 at 936, 950.5 on the January, up 13. Chicago December wheat up 15, 508. December live cattle up 72 at 112.15. And up 12 on December lean hogs at 69.60. Hey, you faced enough challenges in 2019. Eliminate one next year. IOM Grain has an opportunity to increase your profit per acre. Call 260-726-6224 or visit IOMgrain.com. I'm Eric Pfeiffer. This is Hoosier Ag Today, Indiana's Farm Network.
And a thumbs down just by mentioning it. Just by mentioning, I got a thumbs down. Yes. What did I get? Oh, do you want to open it for me?
Sure.
Thanks.
Sure you want me to?
Yeah. Just open the envelope and look inside and
The letter?
tip it upside down. Tip the, yeah. Is there any white powder there?
No, there's no
Okay,
white
cool.
powder.
We're safe. Thank you, Jenny.
Jenny open there?
Thank you. Uh-oh.
Also providing a boost to Wall Street today was a rebound in consumer sentiment, which in October climbed to a 3-month.
Oh, very cool. Casey, due to my odd hours for work, I never get to listen to your show on the radio, and I like to listen to your show in the entirety. So I listen almost solely to your Podbean. Podbean, for some reason, will not let me become a patron. I haven't really set that up yet. So I tried a few times, but for some reason, they won't let me give you any money. So keep talking and take my money. Sorry, this is not written in pencil. I know all letters should be written in pencil, and I should start off by stating my IQ. A loyal listener, Alex. Thank you. I appreciate that. They sent me $5 with a nice, funny meme. Here, I'll cover their name.
What?
Send me $5.
$5?
Yeah, $5 for the show.
Like tomorrow?
No, I don't.
Oh.
Sorry, I don't carry cash. Got a nice little meme on there.
Fake news, Casey.
Keep talking and take my money. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
You gonna report that to the IRS?
No.
Why not?
It's under $10,000. I don't have to. Actually, I think they upped it. Didn't they up it to like 15? Yeah. Thank you very much, though. That was real nice. That was very nice. Yeah, different Alex. Alex, last name starts with an S. I won't tell you who they were, but He can sub on Twitch. So I'll have to find them and kind of direct them to that. But yeah, I didn't set up the patron thing because if I set up the patron thing, I have to do different things just for my patrons. And I still don't really know what to do. I keep thinking about doing the patron thing, and I come up with a couple of ideas here and there, but nothing that I believe I could consistently do. And then it wouldn't be fair of me to charge people for stuff that I am not consistently putting out. So if I didn't have my company and that sort of stuff, it'd probably be a lot easier for me to do it. But that's still very, very cool. Very, very cool. I do appreciate it. Means a lot. I wish it would tell me who did the thumbs down. I really do. I have some ideas.
Is money twice done?
Yep.
Okay.
Condemned houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 574-294-5678 for
All right.
That's 574-294-5678.
Gonna send me powdered donuts? That would be so funny. I have various people in the sales pit usually open my mail for me. So I'll find a salesperson for V100 that doesn't know me very well, and I'll ask him to open the letter for me. And they always oblige every single time.
This is a lie. You're lying. You don't do this. Tell me you don't.
Go ask David.
You're horrible.
Go ask David.
You're just awful.
It's so true. It is so true. Here's the thing. I'm really not being bad because even if I open it, the entire building has to go under quarantine. So we're going to be under quarantine anyway. I have no idea if my anthrax vaccine is still valid. I have no clue. I'm assuming it's not, considering I got it when I was like, I think the last time they gave me one was 19. All right, here we go. The powdered donut thing would seriously be funny, though.
Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Casey, why do your coworkers not invite you to company functions? Because I make them open my mail and check for white powder. That's why. But I just got a really nice letter from a listener named Alex. Last name starts with an S. I won't say who they are. And they said they don't get to listen to the show on the radio anymore because their work schedule changed. They can't watch the live stream live anymore. So they listen to the podcast exclusively. And they felt the need to tell me how much they enjoy it, and they kicked in $5 towards the stream pool. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I was very kind of them. In the meantime, if you would like to go ahead and watch the live stream, you can do that now, or you can do it later, depending on what your schedule is like, by going to youtube.com/CaseyTheHost or twitch.tv/CaseyTheHost. You can subscribe and like on both of those platforms. I really do appreciate it. All right. I told you so. And I just want to remind everybody, okay, let's go back in time, okay? Let's go back in time because this is important for you to remember this stuff. I keep reminding people about this, but it wasn't covered. May of 2017, I told you about James Comey and his FBI getting reamed by the FISA court in newly declassified documents in which the FISA court had said that the FBI under Comey's leadership was routinely and consistently violating the civil rights of American citizens by illegally surveilling them. Okay? So this happened, the documents were released in May of 2017. I've been telling you about that, and I was one of the few people who actually told you this story. Former FBI Director James Comey headed the FBI during a time when declassified documents and the FISA court says the FBI was constantly breaking the law and violating the constitutional rights of Americans. The media is still yapping about Russia without any evidence and can't be bothered to give this story any attention. That was May 30th, 2017. And in that particular legal case, what ended up happening was, I believe that it might have been McCabe at the time who said, FISA court, we super promise we are never going to do that again. Okay? We're never going to spy on the American people. So that was May of 2017. June of 2017, James Comey got sued by a former intelligence contractor for hiding illegal surveillance on the American people. Another story not covered by the press. And again, this is a former intelligence contractor who tried to tell people what was going on and went all the way up to James Comey, and James Comey did not stop it. We ended up finding out later that James Comey was responsible for the illegal surveillance. Why is all of this important, Casey? Why are you rehashing stuff that is 2 years old? This is an excellent question. The New York Post today, Lynch had made major career advances in the 1990s under President Bill Clinton, and her boss, President Barack Obama, plainly supported Hillary's candidacy. Plus, Obama was also implicated in the scandal since he'd exchanged multiple emails with Clinton in her non-governmental address. You already know all of that, okay? You already know all of that. Well, the New York Times is saying that James Comey had a spy in Loretta Lynch, the Attorney General's office, and knew that she had declared that she would not permit the Clinton email scandal to go forward. This is a heck of an allegation. So James Comey, who again, years of illegal spying, is now accused of having a spy in the Attorney General Loretta Lynch's office. But that's not it. There's another tidbit which involves the FISA court that came out this week. We'll talk about that coming up on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
We're on.
The bypass crash is still happening. It's at a standstill.
Okay. We have a direction on it?
Eastbound bypass, just south of State Road 2. Do you not see the message?
I don't see a message.
Oh.
Eastbound bypass beyond State Road 2?
Yeah, just south of State Road 2. It's a rollover crash.
Okay, I don't. No, I just put it in there myself, so I have it.
Oh, you have it? Okay.
Yeah. Doobie doobie doo. The texting, or the chat, I should say, is way behind today, folks. So I am sorry if I miss messages. This is true, Alex. He has not been exonerated of being too unsophisticated. That is true. Can you cue my audio? There we go. God, he sounded like Jordan Peterson there for a second.
See you next week, same time, same place, on 5 Star Life Radio. Coach John is live with us this morning. Good morning, Coach Johnson.
Too bad I can't link to all of my old tweets about this where I tweeted to James Comey since I'm banned on Twitter.
The Indiana Department of Transportation is investing more than $60 billion improving and maintaining Indiana's highways over the next 20 years to keep our economy moving and make your drive safer and smoother. Do your part to keep everyone safe. Slow down in work zones, put down your cell phone, and pay attention. Download the InDOT mobile app to learn about road projects and traffic conditions.
Comey, Clapper, and Brennan, all three need to go to prison. Yep.
And visit nextlevelroads.com.
And now you got Brennan admitting, yeah, okay, the Russian thing isn't true. I made a mistake.
Mayor of South Bend. 50 years of one-party rule has left our city with a
More about 5-Star Life at 5starlife.org. Listen again next week on News Talk 90. Listen again next week on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
That our city is rebuilt in a way that we can all prosper. Let's not have another repeat. Vote for me, Sean Haas for mayor. Paid for by the committee to elect Sean Haas for mayor.
Discover your home's potential each Saturday morning on Measure Twice with Chris Kramer and Joel Kramer with experience in carpentry and interior design. They blend together a unique perspective to give you ideas, tips, and entertainment that can help enhance your home. If you have questions, email them to questions@mtwiceshow.com. It's Measure Twice, Saturday morning at 10 o'clock on News Talk 95.3 Michiana's news channel, your breaking news and weather station. Get breaking news.
Hey, look, we get to do a show. Sweet.
95.3 Michiana's news channel, your breaking news and weather station.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Just got word the eastbound bypass beyond State Road 2 is still a mess. You want to avoid that if you can. Again, eastbound bypass beyond State Road 2. Traffic is driven by R&B Car Company, locations in South Bend and Warsaw. R&B Car Company are your used car experts. We're talking about the latest, greatest breaking news involving James Comey, the former director of the FBI. So we ended up learning that James Comey had a spy. Apparently, this is an allegation now. Had a spy. New York Times is reporting this. In Loretta Lynch's office. New York Post was reporting on the New York Times story, if you heard me say New York Post earlier. So New York Times is saying that they have information that James Comey, the former FBI director, had a spy inside the Attorney General's office. And that's how he knew that she would not permit the Clinton email scandal to go very far. And let's not forget, he had his public speech where he told everybody that she did, in fact, break the law. She should have known better, but that he wasn't going to recommend charges. I did a flashback on that to 2017, where I reminded everybody that the FISA court admonished the FBI for routinely violating the civil rights of Americans and illegally spying on them. About a week or so after that information was revealed, James Comey was sued by an intelligence contractor who hid the illegal spying after that contractor was trying to notify the FBI director that the FBI was abusing the rules. We ended up finding out that the FBI was doing that at his behest. So now, this is new, okay? This is all brand new. Partially redacted court documents released Tuesday this week say that the FBI's practice of conducting warrantless searches for information on Americans through government databases was in violation of U.S. surveillance law. The Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, this is not FISA, this is FISC, ruled in 2018 that the FBI's capacity to search government databases for information on certain individuals or backdoor searches without the necessary warrants to do so did, in fact, violate Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. So that is in the FISA realm. Okay. So again, this is from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. This is a post that they put on their website. So the FISC found that the FBI's search practices were not sufficient, but found the FBI's amendments to their procedures were sufficient, according to the DNI. Now, again, I want to remind everybody that this is all coming out after the FISA court had already told them that they were breaking the rules and they promised to stop. Okay? FISC found tens of thousands of instances between 2017 and 2018 in which the FBI's data collection practices violated Section 702 due to personnel misunderstanding or missteps, and the Bureau waited nearly a year to change its policies. Again, this happened after the FISA court had already told the FBI that they were consistently breaking the rules under James Comey. Comey's gone at this point, okay? So the FBI had promised that they weren't going to do this again. They continued to do it to the tune of tens of thousands of times. The practices were put in place after the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks, according to the Wall Street Journal. Some queries use phone numbers and other forms of ID in an effort to uncover foreign intelligence information, a procedure that a FISA court found in March of 2018 was not reasonably designed to find evidence, according to a report from the FBI's Office of the Director of National Intelligence. FISC also found that tens of thousands of queries for one person at a specific firm with potential access to secrets. In one March 2017 instance, the Bureau conducted a search related to more than 70,000 emails, phone numbers, or other forms of ID, including those of their own employees. FISC Judge James Boasberg in 2018, in his opinion, released Tuesday this week, said that the FBI's procedures for being inconsistent and statutory minimization requirements and the requirements of the Fourth Amendment. So it says they were completely inconsistent with Fourth Amendment protections. Democratic Oregon Representative Ron Wyden called the FBI's position in the case baseless in a Tuesday statement. Last year, when Congress reauthorized Section 702 of FISA, it accepted the FBI's outright refusal to account for all of its warrantless backdoor searches of Americans. He's right. That is true. That happened. So they have not, ladies and gentlemen, they have not been running around and doing what they're supposed to do. They're continuing to do exactly what the FISA court told them to not do. And now the FISC court has told them to continue to, well, has told them again, I should say, to stop doing it. This is a big problem. Now, for the record, most of the people responsible for that at the time are now gone in FBI leadership, much to the chagrin of some. There's also another little tidbit out there involving McCabe. Okay, Andrew McCabe, who replaced Comey for a temporary period of time before the FBI recommended he be fired, admitted that Steele told the FBI that he could not vouch for all materials in the dossier. Well, that's huge news, which means the FBI knew that the dossier was unsubstantiated before they went into a FISA court and demanded those warrants, which of course requires that the information be substantiated. So McCabe is now admitting this, okay? If this ends up that they went into the court and told the court that it was substantiated and they knew beforehand that it wasn't, the FBI broke another surveillance law. And there could be criminal acts with that. But now Andrew McCabe is admitting that Steele told them the dossier was unsubstantiated, and in fact, it would have been illegal for them to obtain warrants under the FISA Act with a FISA court for doing that. We got more coming up. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your top stories right now. An optimism rally on Wall Street. Lisa Brady, Fox News. The Dow up more than 300 points at the closing bell after report of a possible partial deal in the trade talks with China.
We have had productive 2 days of discussions, Ambassador Lighthizer and myself with the Vice Premier and others.
But Treasury Chief Steve Mnuchin not tipping his hand ahead of President Trump's meeting with China's Vice Premier. The president now telling reporters in the Oval Office there is what he's calling a Phase 1 deal, but that it's not written yet. He also says there is an agreement on intellectual property, which is one of the top U.S. concerns, though it is not clear if there's also a
Learn more about 5-Star Life.
500-point rally earlier in the session at the bell, the Dow up 317.
That was some static there.
Mark Esper says the U.S. is not abandoning the Kurdish forces who helped fight ISIS in Syria. He says U.S. forces remain with them in some areas, but were pulled back from 2 posts.
I am not responsible.
When it was clear Turkey intended to invade.
Nobody green-lighted this operation by Turkey.
Hey, folks, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go grab a warm-up of my coffee.
Kendra's going to buy me a Diet Mountain Dew.
Not with a $5 bill, I'm not.
Warning against ethnic cleansing or letting captured ISIS fighters escape.
I don't want
Turkey shows no sign of stopping its operation.
I do.
The Turkish military operation against Kurds along the Syrian border, and they are moving in deeper. Turkish officials say the goal is to establish a 20-mile buffer zone all along that border. That is an enormous military operation and one that is tremendously ambitious. To do that, they're going to have to move out hundreds of thousands of people now there.
Fox's Steve Harrigan is in Erbil, the capital of Iraq's Kurdish region. Turkey claims to have killed more than 200 Kurdish fighters. The Kurds say they've lost just 2 dozen. America is listening to Fox News.
This is Michiana's breaking news weather station. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, and 95.3 MNC.com.
MNC News Time is 4:02. I'm Brooklyn Beatty in the MNC News Center with our top local stories this afternoon. A 2-year-old boy was badly burned in a case of battery and neglect that resulted in scars he'll carry for the rest of his life. Now, the man found guilty of that crime has been sentenced.
The Marshall County judge said he didn't see an ounce of remorse from Micah Kunkel, who had been found guilty of aggravated battery and neglect. Kunkel was sentenced to 22 years in prison for the attack, which court records say included holding the child under scalding hot water, resulting in 3rd-degree burns. The prosecutor's office described Kunkel as ruthless. The child's family says the victim is recovering from his injuries.
That's 95.3 MNC's Caleb Hatch reporting. State authorities are now reporting
That's how you know it's Friday.
2 more Hoosiers from
Nobody here.
Related lung illnesses. There have been now 3 people that have died in Indiana since early September. It's unknown where the patients were located, but we do know that both
Just picked up dry ice for the haunted house. Now to get there without dying. Dry ice won't kill you. It's good stuff. It's healthy. There should be a dry ice spa.
It's a multi-million-dollar proposal that would.
We can get what's her bucket? Who's that? Gwyneth Paltrow. Gwyneth Paltrow could promote the dry ice spas.
Tract of land off Jackson Boulevard that the city currently owns. The 4 developers working on that proposal are not asking for any incentives.
The rainwater to heat it up. Oh, God.
The post would be located just east
Good
of
stuff.
the Aquatic Center and close to the Lundquist Bicentennial Park.
That's 95.3 MNC's.
I wonder what would happen. That could be a YouTube prank. You get the dry ice going or like a fog machine in the car, and then you drive down the road. That would be interesting.
MNC News Time is
Basically, it looks like you're hotboxing it.
Weather sponsored by
The Prime Table Kid. Cool off from the summer heat. Come in for crisp salads and fresh fruit plates.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialists, first warning forecast.
Temperatures continue their free fall tonight. The rain and skies clear and will end up in the mid-30s by early Saturday. Saturday's a shock to the system. Sunny, but brisk and breezy with highs struggling to reach.
I got your brisk and breezy right here,
30 miles per hour. In the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tom Cook.
Well, I mean,
if you want us, just ask for
the forehead is getting better at his makeup on TV. I have noticed.
Everywhere. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, Your breaking news and weather
Are you
station.
judging people by their appearance?
Yes, I am. I am a shallow man, John. You didn't know that?
My hernia was stopping me from doing what I
not the
enjoy.
person I thought
That's
you
when I
were.
learned about robotic surgery at St. Joe.
You didn't check my social media very well.
Procedure I
Oh,
was
don't even get me going about your social media.
St. Joe.
It's been 8 years and he's still on it about one post.
Cherishing the people I love. After the things
Hey,
One post 8 years ago.
as they said on 9/11, never forget.
Well, I wasn't required to dress up in a tie by the FCC.
Two things.
That's all I'm saying.
The label.
We are not going there at all. Not today. Not ever.
But you look sharp periodically. You're dressed really well.
And I am in
Like our
fair
two-sided
company
queen
with Jimmy
sleep set for
Kimmel
just
and Larry Sullivan.
Did you also wear blackface like Kimmel did?
No, but he did the same thing I did.
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. That's funny. Blake Shelton too? Really? For that was it that song?
The TV show. I think so.
You know what should be banned? Because I was in the car the other day and there was some commercial playing where they were beeping a horn.
Uh-huh. Oh God, yeah.
And
no,
it,
yes. Oh,
you know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah,
it sounds like it's in your
It drives me bonkers.
Oh my God.
Anything with horns or sirens.
Yeah.
Or whistles.
But
Don't do whistles
that
or
one,
sirens or horns.
if they do horns, they usually like mute them a little
Don't
bit.
do horns.
That thing was full volume, so it sounded like somebody was honking at
I
me.
literally was at a stop sign one day. Stop.
Yeah.
And I heard this horn, and I'm like, oh my God, someone's gonna
Yeah,
kill me.
I was getting ready to throw down. I was like, what the hell is going on?
Five-Star Life Radio. Learn more about Fox 3 Michiana's News Channel. Your quick
God forbid you try to give somebody something awesome, though. Oh,
When commercial electrical done right. This is Casey Hendrickson on News Talk 95.3 Michiana's News Channel. Your breaking news and weather station.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. I do want to thank our sponsor, Second Amendment Arms and Range. Once again, if you're looking for a fun activity over the weekend, go shoot. And of course, you can get accessories, you can get new firearms, you can get all sorts of cool stuff at Second Amendment Arms and Range. And start thinking about them for the holidays too. Their gift accounts are an amazing convenience for people who are sports shooters or competitive shooters or just an enthusiast, because they don't have to worry about losing gift certificates or gift cards. Go to secondamendmentarms.net to learn more about that. Obviously, you've been hearing about it in the news, and the markets are reacting to it. And I've posted about this on social media, okay, but I actually want to say it. I never get text alerts. I use a couple of different services that are not MNC service, because we just give you kind of breaking news when it's a big story in general. But I'm saying as far as the other services that will send you periodic updates on news, I never get a positive one about President Trump. It's always negative. And I mentioned this with the stock market the other day, because the stock market will go down, and what inevitably happens is the next day it recovers pretty much everything that it lost from the day before. And within 1 or 2 days, the market is up from what it was when it went down. But when it goes down, I get a breaking text alert: markets down upon fears of a coming recession. Okay, we don't have any signs of a coming recession. None of that is visible right now. And then when the next day happens and the market surge back, I get no text alert from the same services saying that the markets are up. I get no text alert that the unemployment rate goes down. I get a text alert when the unemployment rate goes up, but I don't get any of the others. So it's always negative. There's no positives whatsoever from these aggregators that are out there. But there is some good news. Obviously, there's been several big trade deals that have been signed in the past week. We got one with South Korea. We got one with Japan. Now it looks like we have one with China. Trump says that the U.S. has come to a substantial phase 1 deal with China. Phase 1 means we've got a tentative agreement, okay? And I told you before, we went over China's economy a few weeks ago. they're not looking good. Okay, China's in big trouble right now. And I think it's one of the reasons that China is pushing the NBA so much and some of these other companies. China in general will do that. All right. Don't get me wrong. But I think that they have been so forceful about it because it impacts, they have the ability to leverage propaganda, which can also help their economy. And so they're doing that. Let's see. The U.S. has come to a very substantial phase one deal with China in the high-stakes trade negotiations between the two economic superpowers, Donald Trump said on Friday. Phase two will start immediately after the first phase is signed. Okay, that's what the president said in the Oval Office. He's got the vice premier next to him. I don't know how to pronounce the vice premier's name, so I'm not gonna try to. Both sides in the long-running talks, which resumed at the top level this week, have signaled optimism about coming to an agreement of some sort in the near future. U.S. has come to a very... the two will start almost immediately on the first phase, after the first phase is signed. The first portion of the trade deal will be written over the next 3 weeks, he said. The current incarnation of the deal will address intellectual property and financial services concerns, along with purchases of about $40 to $50 billion worth of agricultural products by China. So we went over some of the stuff with manufacturing, and we also went over some of the stuff with agriculture when we went over this, what China's economy was looking like. Because here's the thing. China's own government and their own media is saying that their economy is in trouble. Okay, the so-called trade war has always been to the benefit of the United States. It doesn't matter what a libertarian and it doesn't matter what a standard intellectual Republican will tell you. The way this was done, and that's why I tried to break it down for you all, was masterful. The fact that the consumer price index did not increase when we had these tariffs tells you how well it was done. It doesn't impact you, the consumer, all that much. Now, some of you are in industries that were impacted negatively, and I'm sorry for you. I really am. But this is one of those things where, do we continue to allow this abuse of major U.S. industry, which affects millions and millions of people, to continue? Or do we slightly damage some smaller industries or some specialized industries over the short term in order to win this thing long run? And that's ultimately where the president decided to place his strategy. The Treasury Secretary Mnuchin also announced in the Oval Office that the White House had scrapped a new round of tariffs on imports of Chinese goods, which are set to go into effect October 15th. I told you that that would likely happen if the Chinese came to the table. They did. You no longer have to worry about those tariffs coming into the holiday season. We have a fundamental understanding of the key issues, but there's more work to do, Mnuchin said. Mnuchin even said that the U.S. will be evaluating whether to rescind its decision in August to designate China as a currency manipulator. So, and that all hinders on what China does. At every stage that the U.S. has put tariffs on China here, at every stage, China has come crawling back and acquiesced every single time. There hasn't been a time in this trade battle between the two countries where the U.S. has acquiesced. Every single time it's been China, which shows you the position that we're in from the very get-go. And like I said, the strategy was just done masterfully. We're talking about volume, but low percentages. And when that hits China's economy, their manufacturing sector is the worst it has been in 17 years, according to state-run media. So they are in big trouble. They've got Vietnam and Singapore immediately in competition trying to pull businesses away from China into the United States. So it has been a huge win for the United States. And by the way, I also expect that American investment in China is going to continue to decline. Now, there are businesses and industries that will continue to go to China for the sheer fact that they have so many people. But when it comes to having products made, you're going to start to see a lot of companies, I think, depending on how these intellectual property, whatever this deal is, depending how that actually affects the American business industry. But you're going to see a lot more of them go to places like Singapore and Vietnam to get things done. You can get it done for about the same cost, probably cheaper in some of those cases. Singapore probably a little bit more. But in Vietnam, you can certainly get it done cheaper. And then what you have is you have all of these factors here that are not negatives with China. There's no currency manipulation. There is no subsidy issue. There's all of these things. Hopefully, intellectual property is protected in those countries as well. I guess we'll find out in the long run how that works out. I've told the story before. A major tractor manufacturer has their products made in China. And what ended up happening was, this is a real story. This is not me making something up or giving you an example. This really happened, okay? So they have the factory. They're pumping out a certain color of these tractors throughout the day. The factory shuts down at night, okay? Workers come in a couple of hours later. The factory boots back up, starts making the exact same product, but a different color. And they're stealing their product. So they've used all of their tooling. They've used all of their diagrams, all of their everything, all of the manufacturing process. All they have done is changed the color of the product. They've effectively stolen that product from an American company who's manufacturing over in China. I also know another manufacturer that I work with who's got, and this is where the threat from Singapore and Vietnam comes from. They're trying to get him to send them a product, like a demo, okay? And of course, he doesn't want to do that, because if he sends the demo, what happens? They take it, they send it to China, they copy it, they've got the product now. And because there's no intellectual property protection, it doesn't matter. They just want to steal it. So you've got to be very careful with how you do business over there. This has been a consistent problem, and this trade deal, as of right now, appears to be a big one, and it will certainly help farmers out as well. If you got more coming up, News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Weather served up by the Prime Table in Niles. 26 years of exceptional food, tremendous service, and great people. Visit Prime Table today for breakfast.
I don't know, 20 seconds maybe, 15, 20 seconds. I mean, you were for minutes, but we were a commercial break for not very long.
On Saturday, brisk and breezy, wind gusts up to
not very long.
Wind chill, mostly in the lower 40s. We'll see temperatures fall into the low 40s Saturday night. Sunday, also breezy, a little warmer with a high of 58 and more Sunday. Fair on
Let's see. Open a browser. Sorry, I'm trying to save stuff into the show prep here. I'm using multiple devices.
Cloudy, some clearing on Wednesday with a high of 50. In the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tom Coons.
95.3 MNC and Final Phase Electric.
That is
Countdown to the 2020 presidential election.
No.
With the fourth annual noise.
There we go.
November 2nd at Center 615 in Elka. Our special guests are
That's
best-selling author Brian Kilmeade.
Too cold or too warm.
Appearing on the noise stage for the very first time.
Shouldn't be on 73.
Well, it was.
Well, it shouldn't be.
Well, I just put it back on 69.
Tickets are on sale now for just $40. Each attendee will receive one copy of Brian
Nice.
Tickets are available now at 953mnc.com or the
That's not what I meant.
I'm just saying, man. It's nice. 69 is a good temperature.
Set to make some noise on Saturday, November 2nd. Presented by Final Phase Electric.
Also sponsored by Graber Custom Remodeling, First Response Disaster Restoration Specialists, Fast Signs, and Mojo Events.
And News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, your breaking news and weather station.
Amazing diabetes research has now shown type 2 diabetes can begin to be reversed in as little as 1 week. Don't believe it's true? In 2 short months, Bruce went from diabetic range to pre-diabetic range with his A1C. He lost 20 pounds and dropped multiple pant sizes. He even got off all of his diabetes meds.
All right. Tracy says she'll be back in a minute.
Blood pressure medication in just 2 months. These results were created by a treatment approach many believe is more powerful than any modern science. So why are you reversing?
Really? Okay, I got to look at this. Hold on.
Thanks, but no thanks. The answer
Hold on.
is information that's hidden from the type 2 diabetic community. A team of local doctors are releasing this information during a free diabetes dinner and seminar. Call 574.
Hey, Shepard Smith just announced his retirement.
Now to RSVP.
Just now.
It's very limited. You must call to
Like
see
10
if you
minutes ago.
qualify. Make reversing your type 2 diabetes.
Did you hear me?
What?
Shepard Smith just quit
What?
10 minutes ago.
Oh my God, you're kidding.
No.
Sugar to 45364.
Hi, this is Dwayne.
Several years too late.
That's what he said?
No. But before he signed his last contract extension, remember we were talking, he looks like somebody who's checked out.
Yeah.
He's been checked out for a long
Where are
time.
you seeing this?
It's all over right now. I'm on Yahoo News right now.
Is he on today?
I don't know. He should be on here soon if he does, but thank you for the tip. Alex on the stream got it to me.
Divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant will pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying damaged houses too. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 574-294-5678 for a cash offer today. That's 574-294-5678.
You like shopping online for everything, even your next vehicle. But you also want to buy from a dealer that you know and trust. And buying a car from a vending machine is cool, but what happens when you want to test drive the car first? And what happens if you have a question you want a live, local expert to answer? The solution is Lock Monday Fast Track from the Lock Monday Auto Group. Lock Monday Fast Track takes you from shopping to driving 100% online and at your convenience. You over 700 new and used vehicles can apply for
The 3 p.m. hour will be hosted by a series of rotating anchors.
Okay.
Kind of like the Todd Stearns commentary. Until a new news program is announced.
Is that what they're doing? They're having rotating anchors on that?
Yeah.
Schedule a test drive at any time. We're happy to help the person at any point.
Well, there you go.
It's only at lockmonday.com. Shop new Chrysler, Dodge.
The thing is it's kind of interesting that he's choosing to leave now when the company is moving more towards his ideology. It's kind of strange, but
Get on the fast track to your next vehicle at Lock Monday.
interesting.
His announcement seemed to come as a surprise to even his colleagues, as anchor Neil Cabrino told viewers he's a little stunned and a little heartbroken.
Grill's menu was getting an upgrade in the morning. Remember the phrase?
Shep Acosta is leaving.
Breakfast is now served 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. daily at your favorite Mexican restaurant, Monterey Mexican.
Oh, is there a significant protest presence over there?
You'll get the rest of the day, made fresh daily to keep you coming back week after week.
That would be interesting.
American breakfast classics with some new items mixed in alongside your favorite.
So they keep getting the cops called on them.
With 3 alcoholic
Good.
options to choose from too. From burritos and skillets to combos and omelets.
Well, I can't get that, so I'm gonna have to check this. That's from Indiana, so it's do you know the 317 area code? Is that Indy?
317?
Or
Yeah, I think it is.
okay, probably. I would assume it's the Attorney General calling me.
Text Club. Text taco to 45364. You know it's what you want.
I didn't have an email from him earlier.
Menards has the largest selection of in-stock appliances at the lowest prices. From the moment you bring home your groceries to doing the last load of laundry, Whirlpool appliances are there to make your life easier. Stop by Menards and check out the great deals on Whirlpool appliances, as well as Criterion, Amana, Maytag, and KitchenAid appliances during Menards Oktoberfest sale, going on now through October 12th.
Yeah, still don't have an email, but
We're back in the morning after 5. It's Michiana's Morning News on News Talk 95.3 MSC.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Got some breaking news. We'll tell you that here in just a minute. But first, 95.3 MNC and Final Phase Electric are officially kicking off the countdown to the 2020 presidential election with the 4th annual Noise on Saturday, November 2nd at Center 615 in Elkhart. Again, special guest this year, Fox News host, MNC host, and best-selling author Brian Kilmeade, and townhall.com editor, Fox News contributor, and best-selling author Katie Pavlich is going to be joining us. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you've never been to a Noise event, you have to come. Honestly, it's a blast. It really is a lot of fun. You get to hang out with like-minded people. You get, a stage show. You get to ask questions from some really, big people that you don't generally get to have a conversation with. It really is a lot of fun. It's a great, unique experience for people to be a part of, and we certainly hope that you will be a part of it again this year. General admission tickets are on sale now for just $40. Each attendee will get a copy of Brian's brand new book, Sam Houston. That's, again, a pre-release copy. You'll be able to have that before the general public. Tickets are available at 953mnc.com 24 hours a day, or you can come into the MNC studio at 237 West Edison Road in Mishawaka during normal business hours. We close at 5 o'clock, so come on in. We take cash or card in the studio as well. Saturday, November 2nd, presented by Final Phase Electric and 95.3 MNC. Help us make some noise. All right. The breaking news is, this was just announced, by the way, got to credit the folks on the live stream. I think Alex is the one that got it to me. And Shepard Smith has just resigned from Fox News after 23 years, which for a while now, I have thought that Shep Smith was kind of checked out. And then, I don't know, as of late, seems like he's been reinvigorated by his disdain for the president. But Fox is moving a little bit. Not a little bit. I'm trying to be diplomatic about it. They're moving far more to the left than they have been. Now, the kids have taken over. Murdoch is not there. And it's moving more to the left, which would seem to be something that would make Shepard Smith happy. But Shepard Smith is not happy there. So this is his statement. Recently, I asked the company to allow me to leave Fox News and begin a new chapter. After requesting that I stay, they graciously obliged. The opportunities afforded this guy from a small town in Mississippi have been many. It's been an honor and a privilege to report the news each day to our loyal audience in context and with perspective, without fear or favor. I've worked with the most talented, dedicated, and focused professionals I know, and I'm proud to have anchored their work each day. I will deeply miss them. Again, Shepard Smith joined Fox News in its inception in 1996, bringing his total time at the news channel to 23 years. Fox News also released a statement confirming that he was stepping down. Shepard Smith will step down from his role as chief news anchor and managing editor of the network's breaking news unit and anchor of Shepard Smith Reporting, announced Jay Wallace, the president and executive editor of Fox News Media. This afternoon's edition of Shepard Smith Reporting was Mr. Smith's final show, during which he addressed his decision. A series of rotating anchors will host the 3 p.m. time slot until a new dayside news program is announced. Wallace added, Shep is one of the premier newscasters of his generation, and his extraordinary body of work is among the finest journalism in the industry. His integrity and outstanding reporting from the field helped put Fox News on the map, and there is simply no better breaking news anchor who has the ability to transport a viewer to a place of conflict, tragedy, despair, or elation through his masterful delivery. We are proud of the signature reporting and anchoring style that he honed at Fox News, along with everything that he accomplished here during his monumental 23-year tenure. While this day is especially difficult as his former producer, we respect his decision and are deeply grateful for his immense contributions to the entire network. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Shepard Smith is officially out at Fox. Of course, Fox recently parted ways with Todd Starnes, another longtime face and voice with Fox News Media. So they're certainly going through some changes, some of which they are choosing to do, some of which they are not choosing to do. So Shepard Smith, once again, has announced that he is leaving Fox News effective immediately. That will start, I guess, tomorrow, technically. 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595-953. Of course, you can go to the Facebook page. I posted the story on Facebook. Let us know if you're happy or if you're not happy about Shepard Smith leaving. Again, facebook.com/Casey the host. I know that a lot of you have not been big fans of his as of late. Know a lot of you have not been big fans of his for some time, even before President Trump, but many of you are. So let us know where you stand on that. If nothing else, I think he certainly was considered for many, many years, if not now, by many of you, to be one of the premier news anchors, if you will, on Fox News. And I think that a lot of people, even on other networks, tried to emulate what Shepard Smith did. So whether we agree with his opinions on anything, he certainly has been a trendsetter in the news business, especially on the TV side. There's no doubt about that. He's always positioned to break news, and he has consistently. And there's no doubt about any of that. So again, he has stepped down from Fox News, and we will see what ends up happening in his place. All right, 574-2595, 95.3. You are also about half an hour away from open lines. So again, we will open the phone lines up to you at 5 o'clock, where you can contact us and talk about any old issue that you want. It is entirely up to you. And again, I don't steer any of those things. I just go ahead and let you talk. We take the calls in the order that we get them, and then we are happy to run with it. So sometimes it goes off on one topic. Sometimes we get a good mix of stuff. It's up to you. It starts at 5 o'clock today. The Washington Free Beacon has fired reporter Bill Gertz over undisclosed financial arrangements with an individual that he covered regularly in his reporting. Now, the Washington Free Beacon is a really good newspaper. When people ask me what news outfits you should go with to go ahead, they're always on the list of outfits you should probably pay attention to. Let's see. It's not yet reported on who the individual or associate of an individual that Gertz had a financial arrangement with. We don't know. But they went ahead, and obviously everybody is doing their best to look at who does he cover on a regular basis. And that's, I think, a fair thing. You know, if he's covering somebody on a regular basis and he's now been discovered to have an inappropriate financial relationship with, it would make sense that might be it. Now, here's where things get a little interesting. He frequently covered Guo Wengai, a Chinese dissident, accused of actually being a spy for the Chinese government masquerading as a dissident. He covers that person a lot. Now, if that ends up being the case, then certainly this is hugely problematic for the Washington Free Beacon. So they fired him. They're not giving any further details just yet. But when that information comes out, I'm sure that will be a big story as well. We got more coming up on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's News.
This is Michiana's breaking news.
I thought I'd be extra tight with that one since I was so loose the last time.
Oh, that's what she said.
And 95.3 MNC.com.
MNC News Time is 4:31. I'm Brooklyn Beatty in the MNC News Center with our top local stories this afternoon. Police in Sturgis, Michigan are investigating after receiving multiple reports of property damage on Arden Park Avenue this month.
On October 9th, police were called to a garage fire in the 300 block of Arden Park. ABC 57 reports the fire is being investigated as an arson. The following day, officers were dispatched to another incident in the same block. This time, an outbuilding was damaged overnight.
Come to a very
It's described
substantial
as a
phase 1
malicious
China.
destruction
Yeah, I already
of
told
property.
everybody, Trump.
If you have any information
Jeez.
on either incident, you're being asked to contact the Sturgis Police Department.
That's 95.3 MNC's Caleb.
Why has he got to steal everybody else's story? I bet he's going to say that he broke the news, too. God, what a jackass.
Sheriff's deputies say the 51-year-old Edwardsburg man crashed into the deer on Manette Street near Brick Church Road in Jefferson Township. Shortly before 6 a.m.
Is Facebook messing with my page? I don't know.
Drugs were factors in the crash, and remind the public that deer are on.
Okay, Facebook is totally messing with my page.
Well, they do own your page.
Has announced that it will not be playing again for the rest of the season.
They
The
are.
university says they've had to cancel the remainder of their season as injuries and other issues have led to a very small roster, and that it's not safe to continue to play with so few players. Before the announcement, they already forfeited 5 games, and before that, had a record of 0-4.
They had my latest post as
They
2015.
will, however, continue to practice on a limited basis and dive into recruiting more players for next season.
That's 95.3
Yeah,
MNC
posts are
reporting.
jacked up, people.
By ZX Gun.
I don't
your
know what's
single
going
source
on.
For personal protection, visit them on 3rd Street in
No
Goshen
clue.
and check out their full line of quality handguns, including shotguns, rifles, accessories, and more. MNC News Time is 4:33.
Fox News, I'm Richard Jordan. President Trump says the U.S. and China reached a substantial Phase 1 trade deal as China agreed to buy billions in U.S. farm products.
Yeah, there's an issue with the Facebook page.
With your Facebook page?
Yup.
So what's going on with it?
My latest posts are not loading. It's random posts that are loading at the top, and they're years old.
On Casey the host?
Yup.
says the first call came in last night. Our first arriving companies
All of the posts that I had up there were not. Oh, okay, so that one worked. So if you go to posts, so if you go to my page and then click on posts, it should be okay. But if you're just on my page, it's all going to be jacked up.
America's listening to Fox News.
Weather sponsored by
Well, do you have it just to set?
I didn't change anything, man. It should just show the latest post at the top. If you go to the post section, my posts are in order. If you're on the home page, they weren't in order. So people were telling me it was taking a long time for it to load.
It is. It's probably a problem with Facebook because I'm trying to load ours and it's
something's happening with Facebook.
I bet you Facebook is melting down because everyone is posting about Shepard Smith right now.
Probably. They could be. Did I insult China? I kind of did, actually. I did. I did a whole thing on how the trade war with China has been good.
Intellectual property, financial services, and up to $40 to $50 billion in purchases of agricultural products.
Oh, good golly.
Stephen Mnuchin says that the U.S.
I think I'm going to go upstairs and get a Diet Mountain Dew.
tariffs on China that were slated to take effect.
You can do that.
I know I can.
You know what we should have? I've been saying this for a long time, John. We should have energy drinks in our drink machine. And if our drink machine can't distribute energy drinks, we need to get a drink machine that does.
Casey, I've never heard you ever say this.
I've said this multiple times.
Not to me.
Well, you're not the decision maker, but I certainly spread it throughout the building.
Two decision makers?
I don't know. Isn't Jenny just the decision maker?
No, she's not.
Well, we need an energy drink dispensing machine.
You know what? You need someone who wasn't here at 2 in the morning when you're bored.
Well, that was your fault. You gave them both the day off at the same time.
I'm a nice guy.
Yeah. He's a nice guy to them, but he didn't give me my birthday off.
Care about their employees, facilities, and image. When all those things work together, they're ready for business. Oh, I'm ready! Get Cintas and get ready for the workday.
That's the last one that you saw. I reloaded the page several times, and I kept getting different ones. I had one from 2015 on there. Post free Hong Kong and see what happens.
Are you currently receiving steady paychecks?
You know what? I'm going to do that just to see.
Monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? I'm certified financial planner Casey Weed. I like to call this mailbox money. It's the monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. We want to help remove stress from your retirement. We don't want you to worry if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing we want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month.
There. I posted free Hong Kong, and then I did the hashtag free Hong Kong and China sucks. So I did both of those. So we'll see what happens.
In retirement. 866-482-9559, 866-482-9559, or just visit retirewithpurpose.com.
Okay, early submission for text of the day. Casey, what's Shep doing for money? Eyeliner endorsement? Oh, man.
Dental provider. It's no wonder that we've been voted the Reader's Choice Best Local Business 18 times. Not only that, we were also voted Michiana's Best Employer. If our employees feel that way, imagine what that means for you. That's right. If they love their job, it means better care for you and your family. That's what patient-friendly dentistry is all about. Our team of doctors actually listen to your needs and concerns. Haven't seen a dentist in several years? That's okay. We won't make you feel bad or expect you to do everything all at once. We'll do everything possible to ensure you get exceptional care, detailed explanations, and comfortable financial options. Why not schedule a no-cost exam at Afton on Douglas Road in Mishawaka, Michigan's preferred dental provider? Call today at 277-2220 or visit our website at afnet.com.
What if this was a loved one?
911. Someone's trying to break into my home. They're right at the front door. We're notifying the authorities. I'll stay on the line with you until they arrive. What good'll that do?
CX-Gun is your single source for personal protection. Stop in today for the largest selection of handguns, AR rifles, ammunition, accessories, and personal protection solutions. Over 2,000 guns in stock today with the best prices. Guaranteed. CX-Gun, located in downtown Goshen at the corner of US 33 and State Road 50. Visit them online at cxgun.com. Protect yourself and loved ones today at CX-Gun.
We always look forward to the playoffs and that pressure.
Will any of the former champions make the cut, or is it time for the next generation?
When you get there, you better bring it. Love the fire, brother. Love the fire. The pressure in the playoffs is 10 times what it is in the regular season. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of heroes up there, so just be ready for anything.
They're highly competitive and each want to win.
I feel wife when we strap into the car. I'm ready. My team's ready to rock and roll.
The Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series playoffs at Talladega, Sunday 2 p.m. Eastern on.
But I figured I would try it. Just because you're a kid doesn't mean I'm not going to do it.
From the first step to the final phase, industrial and commercial electrical.
Right. This is Casey Hendrickson.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. That is 2595-953. If you go to Facebook, facebook.com/Casey the host, there has been an issue with the posts, so they're posting them out of order. However, on the left-hand side, if you click on posts, that should reveal all of my posts, and those should be in order. That seems to work, okay? A lot of you have rushed over to comment on the Shepard Smith announcing that he is resigning from Fox News. As breaking news here this last half hour, I posted that. And you can go check that out again, facebook.com/Casey the host. Also have a meme of Colin Kaepernick up there. It's the old Colin Kaepernick ad with believe in something, unless it upsets the Chinese government, just do it. And people seem to enjoy that one as well. All right, 574-25-95-95.3. Want to thank our sponsor, Second Amendment Arms and Range, located in New Carlisle. 10 dedicated shooting lanes that are indoors. You can shoot rifle and pistol there. And if you mention me, you get 50% off your range time. Go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information. If you're looking for ammo, they have fantastic selections of ammo out there as well. Okay, what else do we have here? So many things to discuss and chat about. All right, let's talk about old Joe Biden. Joe Biden, hold on, I want to pull up the other story that I have here because I saved a couple of things. All right, here we go. There's that. Okay, flashback, okay? So flashback, a lot of flashbacks today. So Joe Biden, with a flashback, his campaign had circulated a letter telling everybody not, okay, to have Rudy Giuliani on as a guest. So that's what his campaign was telling everybody to do. Don't have Rudy Giuliani on as a guest. You're not allowed to have him on as a guest, okay? So that he did that, a month ago? Something like that. Then you have Joe Biden's campaign now asking major media outlets, big tech, to black out Trump's ads on Ukraine. You can't do that. You're not allowed to do that. Anyway, former Vice President Joe Biden has spent the last few weeks asking major media outlets to give him cover for President Donald Trump's accusations that he acted corruptly during his time in the White House. The latest updates on that, FYI, got Joe Biden admitting now that he did in fact talk to his son about what happened in the Ukraine. The Obama State Department signed off on Hunter Biden getting the contract. Okay, we have the audio of them in the press conference saying, yes, Jen Psaki was the one who said, yes, it's okay if he has a contract with the Ukraine. Not a big deal. Okay, we got the photo that appeared that showed that Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and Burisma Holdings executives were in fact golfing together. So the idea that it never came up is preposterous. So we know that he lied about that. Now you've got a Ukrainian parliamentarian saying that Joe Biden was paid $900,000 for lobbying in Ukraine, which would be illegal for him to do as the vice president of the United States. You also have the prosecutor who is fired that Joe Biden withheld $1 billion in aid from Ukraine until he was fired in a court affidavit in the Ukraine saying that he was fired because he was investigating Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden. Okay. I'm not even including any of the Chinese allegations, okay? I'm just purely including that. So that's where we're at right now. Joe Biden's campaign tried to pressure Fox News and others recently to stop running a Trump ad addressing the former vice president's role, allegedly pressuring Ukraine to oust a prosecutor who at one time investigated a company tied to his son, Hunter Biden. He's asked other outlets to do the same. And again, Joe Biden has admitted that he withheld $1 billion in aid, over $1 billion in aid, until that guy was fired. That's not in dispute. He's admitted that. That's on tape. The campaign ad published on September 27th contains a statement suggesting the former vice president offered Ukraine $1 billion to fire the prosecutor investigating a company affiliated with his son. Biden has struggled to maintain his position atop the list of Democrats running for president. The lack of past media attention given to Hunter Biden's role on the board of Ukrainian natural gas company is a clear indication that the story has no legitimacy, Biden said in late September as the story picked up steam. That's weird. The media refusing to cover a story about Hunter Biden, which we told you about months ago, he interprets that as, see, it has no legitimacy. We interpret that as, why aren't you covering a clear scandal here? So that's his position. So he's telling everybody, you got to stop allowing these ads to run, which, again, they can't do. Now, here's where things get even more interesting, ladies and gentlemen. The next Democrat debate is Tuesday, and Joe Biden's campaign has already reportedly been warning other participants about mentioning anything about his son's business dealings in Ukraine. Oh, really? Joe Biden's campaign sternly warns anyone who, quote, calls themselves a Democrat not to repeat, quote, discredited lies about Biden and his son at the debate. Of course, they're not discredited. In fact, the evidence keeps increasing for it. Or they'll be making a profound statement about themselves, unquote. Okay, let's get this straight. A lot of evidence against Joe Biden's son. A little evidence against Joe Biden himself. Again, we're just going to say for the sake of argument that it is purely coincidental that his son happened to work for a company that was being investigated by the prosecutor in the Ukraine, and he withheld $1 billion until said prosecutor was fired, okay? Even if you say that is purely coincidental, it still has to be investigated and looked at because it looks horrible. It looks bad. It looks like he's protecting his kid, and he's using $1 billion in government aid to the Ukraine to do so, okay? That's a problem. That's illegal. That's a huge deal that has to be addressed and dealt with. Hunter Biden has been accused of crimes not only in the Ukraine, but in China. And it's important that people remember that. So we've got that. Now you've got Joe Biden running around and telling everybody, don't allow Rudy Giuliani to come on your news programs. You can't allow Donald Trump to run these ads against me. And you Democrat opponents of mine, you better not bring this up at these debates or else you're not a real Democrat. Seems like he doesn't want anybody to talk about this particular issue. And that makes you wonder if there's some truth to the allegations. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Weather served up by the Prime Table restaurant in Niles. Does your family or group meet regularly for breakfast, lunch, or dinner? Just call the Prime Table to reserve tables for your next gathering.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialists' 5-day forecast.
Fall is really here as we have chilly temperatures for the weekend. Highs struggle to reach 50 on Saturday. Brisk and breezy. Wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. The wind chill mostly in the lower 40s. We'll see temperatures fall into the low 40s Saturday night. Sunday, also breezy, a little warmer with a high of 58 and more sunshine. Fair on Monday, 56, mostly sunny. Then the next round of rain next Tuesday, a quick hitting system with a high of 58. Partly cloudy, some clearing on Wednesday with a high of 50. In the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tom Coombs.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Meanwhile, another day with no school for students.
And news anchor Tommy Lee.
The city of Elkhart, like so many others.
Nominated by the Indiana Broadcasters Association for Best Newscast in 2019. And MNC, nominated for Best Community Involvement through our work with 5-Star Life.
Triple matching your money for the next year.
We're the radio station with non-stop news, traffic, and weather in the morning. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Your breaking news and weather station.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites
Be with you in
them
just
to
a
apply
second,
to your
folks.
job.
Hold on.
You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This message is for all those stream-happy, data-loving smartphone junkies out there.
All right.
Millennials, we're not talking about you.
Hey, Lumberjacks has subscribed with Twitch Prime. Thank you. Appreciate that. Heroes is on as well on Twitch.
And you'll want to hear this.
Thank you, Lumberjacks. I really do appreciate that.
Only from T-Mobile. If you're 55 or older, you can get 2 lines of unlimited everything for just $70 a month with AutoPay.
Is it Burps over there on Twitch too? So Heroes is Twitch hoarding bits? I haven't been able to get any bits lately either. Seems interesting.
Because T-Mobile's got you covered. Don't settle for wireless plans that are all talk.
No taste test. Haven't done a taste test in a long time.
T-Mobile is America's most
It has been a while.
wireless. Are you with us? Customers using more than 50 gigs per month may notice reduced speeds due to prioritization.
Yeah, we got 41 people watching, but we don't have that many likes right now. I mean, compared, I would like more. That would be great.
When those giant scissors come out for a grand opening ceremony,
Your daughter turned 21 yesterday. Uh-oh, so it's her first weekend in Indy.
numerous contractors tirelessly taking dreams
Yeah, I get how that makes you nervous. I get
on
that.
schedule and on budget from the very first step to the final
A
phase.
pizza, yeah.
The trusted experience
I
of
did
the
find the
T-Mobile
pizza video here recently too.
Phase Electric has the tools
I ran into
and
it just
experience to
accidentally.
make
It's on the
everything
channel in
well,
Taste Test.
and can step in at any time to assess your project with a level of unmatched
You can relive the horror that was the pizza.
We believe in positive results through
And it
positive
was
people. If
awful.
we're positive, then we can help you with your commercial or industrial project. One call does it all.
Are you taking calls or are you moving on?
Yeah, I'll take calls. It's just not open lines yet till 5.
Okay, so you want calls on what?
Biden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michiana's News Channel, would you like to talk to Casey?
Once the bypass is still an issue.
Well, I can put you on hold, but you're going to be waiting until after 5 o'clock. Yeah, well, fairly. So do you want to hold? Okay, sounds good, buddy. Okay.
All solid wood for the mission.
All right, thanks a lot.
Solid quarter sawn white oak or solid black.
Hey, thank
All
you,
right,
Bert.
sounds good. Yeah, 5 o'clock is a good time to call.
Appreciate that.
Product. Their upholstery
All right, bye-bye.
is all maple frame, glued screw, doubled out, 8-way hand tied. They use the finest cushioning material, fabrics. I mean, it literally will last you a lifetime. Come in, look at what we have, see what we have to offer, and we would love the opportunity to show you what we can do.
The last thing that we were going to consider doing a taste test on was the not real burgers. But it has to be a Beyond Burger because I'm not going to do the Impossible Burger. It's all soy.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. 4:53 is the time, which means you're about 10 minutes away from open lines. You can call about any topic you want after 5 o'clock. We do recommend that you call right when we go to the news break, because sometimes, it just depends on the day, sometimes it fills up quick, and then you're dealing with full lines the entire rest of the hour. 574-25-95-95-3. We're also live streaming at youtube.com/Casey the Host or twitch.tv/Casey the Host. Hope you'll join us on your preferred platform, and please subscribe on either one of those. If you're on YouTube, please hit that like button. Really do appreciate that. All right, so Marie Yovanovitch, the former ambassador to Ukraine, accused Trump allies and Ukrainian officials of waging a, quote, concerted effort to have her removed from her post. Yeah. Let's not forget, yesterday we told you that she is now suspected of spying on multiple journalists, including John Solomon from The Hill. So there's some pretty... She obviously wasn't friendly to the Trump administration. And if you're not going to serve the administration that is currently in power, then you're probably going to be replaced. That's going to happen, even if you are good at your job. But she's also been accused of some pretty awful things. And some of them may or may not have been criminal. It all depends. But that news, again, broke yesterday, which I told you about. She's been accused of spying on several journalists. So now she's out there saying, well, there was this coordinated effort to go ahead and remove me from office. Yeah, it's also within the power of the presidency to remove you from your post. So I wouldn't be complaining and crying about it, but she is. The Trump administration also threatened sanctions on Turkey today. And of course, there's a press conference today where they mentioned that American troops are staying with Kurds all throughout Syria. It's just this one region where troops have been moved. Speaking from the White House briefing room this afternoon, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin reiterated President Trump's threat to sanction the Turkish economy if the military goes too far with this invasion into northern Syria. I just met with President Trump. He's authorized and will be signing a new executive order giving the Treasury Department, in consultation with himself and Secretary Pompeo, very significant new sanction authorities that can be targeted at any person associated with the government of Turkey, any portion of the government. Okay, so anybody who's got any ties to Turkey, they can go ahead and move on those sanctions. This will both primary sanctions and secondary sanctions that will be applicable, is what he's saying. I was quoting him, so it seemed like it was strange writing. The Pentagon has also said that they're going to send 3,000 troops, fighter jets, to Saudi Arabia to confront the Iranian issue. So they're going to send those to, 3,000 troops, including 2 squadrons of fighter jets, to Saudi Arabia. Now, the move follows an attack last month on oil production facilities in Saudi Arabia that Iran was, quote, clearly responsible for, according to the Defense Secretary Mark Esper. Iran denied that it had any role in that attack, which an Iranian-backed proxy force claimed credit for. We talked about how they sourced the weapons that were used in the attack, and that they didn't appear to be weapons that were known to be in the Houthi rebels' armaments. And it did appear that they potentially came from Yemen, the attacks, but also could have come from inside of Iran. So again, this is now 11,000 troops plus 3. So we got 14,000 troops in the region since May. That's the additional buildup over there. Now, I posted this earlier, and I get it. There's a lot of people who don't like Saudi Arabia, folks, and I totally get that. I am in the camp. Okay, maybe not like, but I approve of the new prince and the direction he's trying to take the country. All right? Not that he's a new prince, but newly in power. Okay, I approve of the direction he's trying to take the country. He's trying to take them away from Islamic extremism and more towards economic free capitalism. Okay, they're opening the country up. They're letting foreigners stay in the same hotel room. They're making reforms which for them are pretty advanced. For us, they're still archaic, but they're moving in the right direction, and that's all because of the prince. Okay, now with that said, a lot of you don't like Saudi Arabia for good reason. Okay, and I totally appreciate that. What I would say is that most of you who don't like Saudi Arabia don't like Saudi Arabia for the Saudi Arabia government that was in power going back to 9/11, not the current authority. And again, totally understand that. Many of you also just don't want to be a part of it. You don't want any part of any Middle East conflict over there. That's also fair. Iran is the largest state sponsor of global terrorism. That has to be factored in. They're certainly pursuing a nuclear weapon. I think that has to be factored in. I'm in the camp that says they have to be held in check. Okay. Now, some of you might disagree with that. That's okay. We can have a polite disagreement about it. However, making this announcement the day after you had a press conference in which we carried here on the show, where the president says we should never have been involved in the Middle East, seems a bit hypocritical. Now, the president, to clarify, the president says we never should have been involved in the Middle East, but we are now, so now you have to handle it. So that's the position the president is in right now. But it certainly doesn't look good. It will be used by his detractors the day after he says we shouldn't be involved in the Middle East. And obviously with the situation with the Kurds and what's happening in Syria with Turkey, and then all of a sudden we're shifting now to Saudi Arabia to focus on Iran. I get where there's some people are going to have some issues with that, and that I would forgive you for being irritated by that as well. But his critics are certainly going to make a stink about it, and he left himself open to that stink. Although strategically, moving more troops to Saudi Arabia makes perfect tactical sense. I understand people's apprehension, to say the least. It's going to be open lines here in just a couple of minutes. Like I said, I recommend you call during the news break to get on hold because sometimes it's hard to get through. We got more coming up on 95.3 MNC.
WTRC FM and HD1.
Niles, South Bend, Elkhart.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your top stories right now.
This is a Fox News alert. A trade deal with China. I'm Lisa Brady. It's not the comprehensive deal President Trump is looking for, though. At least not yet.
We've come to a very substantial...
You know what? The Pizza one might be on Facebook. I'm going to look for it right now. We might have been doing the Friday Facebook Live at that time. What's up, bud?
Financial services.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
For the farmers, a purchase of
Vaping?
$40 to $50 billion.
All right, hang on, Blind Betty. We'll get on here.
The U.S. is also suspending
Michiana's news channel, which Let's Talk with Casey.
effect Tuesday, so it
And-
amounts to a trade.
Okay, Ted, what would you like to
the
talk about?
fine print on this part and negotiations on more continue.
It's got to be on
death
YouTube.
just
It has to be.
confirmed in California, where about 100,000 people have been ordered to evacuate around L.A.
I remember
Strong
doing
winds
the
spanning the flames. Fox's
thumbnail
Jessica
for it.
Rosenthal is live in L.A.
Police say one person died of cardiac arrest during the Saddle Ridge firefight in northern Los Angeles. LA Fire Captain Brandon Silverman says as of midday today, that fire was 13% contained.
We're looking at estimated 100,000 people affected by the evacuations.
One person died in a fire east of LA in Riverside, where 2 people are
Okay,
also
okay,
unaccounted
hang on.
The candy corn one is on.
Utilities throughout the state cut power to thousands of residents this week
Hold
in
on.
hopes of reducing.
Channel, which Let's Talk with Casey.
Thanks, Jessica. Some breaking news.
All right, what do you want to talk about?
I have the candy corn one on YouTube, so I'm thinking the other one might be on Facebook.
23
All right,
years,
hang on, buddy.
adding the network initially requested that he
Michiana's
stay
news
and
channel, which
honored
Let's
his
Talk with
request to
Casey.
go. Moving on to a new, as yet undetermined.
Hey,
chapter.
hang on the line.
America is listening to Fox News.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station.
Should be hard to find, though.
News Talk.
Going to be hard to find. All right.
95.3 MNC.com.
MNC News Time is 5:02. I'm Brooklyn Beatty in the MNC News Center with our top local stories this afternoon. The University of Notre Dame will host the first presidential debate next September.
Sorry about that.
This
I had to
afternoon,
push some buttons.
University President
Okay.
John Jenkins announced that the event will take place on September 29th at the Purcell Pavilion of the Joint Center.
Yeah.
You know, Notre Dame, throughout its history, has hosted.
There's 4 Pizza videos. If you go to YouTube, or not YouTube, Facebook, if you go to Facebook, click on the video tab and then type in Pizza, there's 4 videos for it.
Did you want to talk to him on the air?
You know, and
Okay. Well, I got to go because I got other lines ringing. So.
beyond this region.
Okay.
Jenkins says
Okay.
Notre
All right.
Dame and the entire South Bend, Mishawaka, Elkhart region
What-
will be in the
what was that
global
about?
spotlight, and the school
Nothing.
will work closely with its community partners to make sure the
Okay.
area is
Hey, you
ready
know
to
what?
shine.
I like put these people on hold too fast. Frankie's talking about vaping.
Okay.
Not sure about Ted.
Okay.
And Roger, I forgot. But the other topic.
Okay.
Oh, the presidential debate at Notre Dame.
Oscar
Got it.
Roscoe was arrested in February for Bueno's death. Bueno died after being shot outside of Bar Louie at University Park Mall in Mishawaka back in June 2017. Last month, Roscoe was found guilty of murder. ABC 57 reports he was sentenced to 45 years for murder, plus 5 years for a firearms sentencing enhancement.
That's 95.3 MNC's Caleb Hatch reporting. And sports betting may be legal in Indiana.
Heroes likes John's voice. Your voice is soothing.
Oh, who's saying this? A girl or a male?
I don't know. Heroes 2218. I have no idea.
Uh-oh.
No clue.
Uh-oh.
No
Well,
clue, but it's
okay.
soothing. Does it matter?
Well, it is Friday night.
Yeah, there's the candy corn one. Alex got that one up there.
Thank you for liking my voice. I've been using it since 5 a.m. today.
Yeah, it's a long day.
I know. Because I gave too many people the day off in case he's...
and you didn't give me my birthday off. Shame on
you. You didn't ask for your birthday off.
I did.
Okay, are you 9?
Yes.
No, you're not. I mean, like, seriously.
No, I asked for my birthday off,
When
but
did you, no, hang on. That's
your
bull.
your daughter. You had that
Casey.
thing with your daughter.
No. All right. For everyone listening, this is what went down.
He's
I
lying.
walked into the room and I said,
Yes.
"Hey, Thursday, guess what?" Because usually I'm not here on Thursday.
Yeah.
So I'm in Fort Wayne.
So
I walk in the room and I say, "Hey, folks, Thursday, guess what?" And then everyone's like, "You're not going to be here," and I'm like, "Yeah." And then I'm like, "I'm going to be picking up my daughter." And then Casey says, "Oh, I wanted my birthday." Oh, no, this is what you said.
Well, this was about
No, hang on.
everybody
No, this
gets
is
a
what you
day
said.
off
Then you
thing.
go-
You're leaving that
No,
out.
then you go, "Oh, so I'm screwed out of having my birthday off," which you never even requested.
Of course.
You never even requested.
Well, of course, I wouldn't have done it, but it was the free day that Brad was giving everybody.
No.
I would have never requested my
free
birthday
day,
off. Right. This is about the free day.
The free day off
right.
that we were so graciously
Yes.
afforded.
Yes.
Was you could either take that Friday off as the free day or any day the following week or make arrangements with your manager, which you've yet to do.
Right. The following week was the Thursday. It wasn't the same week.
Casey, no, because you were, no.
Where's Joe when I need him?
No.
He's my witness.
Joe's on his free day off.
Damn it. Everybody's got a free day. I requested another day and he said no.
No, this is...
I requested November 2nd
No.
off and he said
Bull.
no.
He's lying. What
Most certainly did.
No, you are BS. Because this is what went. Because then I said I'm going to pick up my daughter, and then you're like, "Oh, so I get screwed out of having my birthday off," which you never ever requested. That's the first time I ever heard of it being your birthday. At which point I thought to myself, "What are you, 9 years old? You need your birthday off?" Okay, but anyway,
You seem genuinely upset. And
I know
sad.
because you're lying about me.
No,
and I hate
you
that.
seemed sad that day that I
All
was
right.
going to have to work on my birthday.
Okay, then. Well,
Today.
you know, a lot of stuff going on, so there's
Today.
reasons to be sad. All right, then Joe says, "Hey, do I get a free day off?" And I'm like, yes, because who am I to deny you a free day off after everybody's boss just gave everybody a free day off?
Right.
And then you said, and I quote, "I don't need a day off."
It's true.
So
I said, if it's going to be a problem for you if you don't give me a day off, then I'll
It's
take a day.
never a problem.
I was just saying because of the.
When has it ever been a problem?
I
for you
didn't
to
know
take
if
off,
they
other
were
than
going to
when
come
you were on
back.
vacation
No.
and then Pat Miller got
That's not what I was
sick?
saying. I was saying if it was going to be a problem that you didn't give me a day off, because
It's
if they
never
came in, they
a
go,
problem to give you a day off when you just come out and request it.
"You're not
Like
listening.
ahead of time.
You're
Yeah,
not
you know what?
listening."
That's because you're acting like my wife.
I didn't want you to get in trouble for
I'm
not
never gonna get
giving
in
the day
trouble.
off.
Oh my gosh!
Because of the request
When
coming.
have I ever been in trouble here?
Never.
mind. Don't answer.
Never, except for that many
Just
times.
don't even go there.
Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Well, John wanted to wake up. I woke him up. But you missed it if you weren't watching the live stream. You missed it.
Huge fight.
Not really.
We're going to HR.
She left already.
We're going to. It was better than Tucker Carlson and Shep Smith.
That is true. Shep Smith, who now does not work at Fox News.
Because of Tucker Carlson.
Probably because of Tucker Carlson. Anyway, again, if you missed that announcement, if you're just getting in your vehicle, you're leaving the cubicle or the factory, Shepard Smith resigned from Fox News today after 23 years. That was breaking news at about 4:15 or so. And it is open lines. You can call about any topic you want right now, 574-2595, 95.3. We do want to thank our sponsors, Second Amendment Arms and Range, located in New Carlisle. If you mention me, you get 50% off your range time. Go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information. Frankie, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Hey, Casey, how you doing?
I'm doing well. What's up?
Well, I just had a question. I keep hearing about, the vape illnesses, and the way the news and media are covering it, they're just saying vaping illnesses.
Correct.
Why is it that since we have evidence that it's THC cartridges that are cut with vitamin E acetate, why are they still generalizing the vaping as a whole? I mean, that's like saying people are getting stomach illnesses, so until we figure out what it is, stop eating.
Yeah, that's because everybody in the press is ignorant of it. And they don't know what they're talking about. And they're just repeating the talking point. For instance, The South Bend Tribune today carried a syndicated article. 2 more Indiana residents die from lung damage linked to vaping. So I commented, 2 more Indiana residents die from lung damage linked to illegal black market THC drugs improperly cut with vitamin E acetate. There, I fixed your headline for you. Because the press doesn't know what they're talking about because most of them are not vapors. Now, here's the thing. The Metro News in Michigan, they get the story right. And believe it or not, Australian media is covering this for some reason extensively. I don't know why, but for some reason, the Australian media is very invested in what is happening with the vaping industry in the United States. It might have something to do with what's legally something happening over there. I don't know. But they're covering it correctly. If you go watch Australian news, whether it's morning or evening, they have experts on who are saying this is illegal, black market, THC products that are, again, cut improperly because we're talking about, well, people are making drugs basically in their house with vitamin E acetate. They're using too much of it. That stuff gets in your lungs. It solidifies just like your grease does in your kitchen. And then you start having problems breathing. That's what it is. It is not coming from your retail vaping devices. It's not coming from your retail vaping juices, whether it's flavored or not, whether it has nicotine or not. This is not coming from anything that you buy legally in a vaping store. It is all coming from this illegal THC stuff. And instead of the media doing the responsible thing, they're out there. And here's the thing. The CDC, and you have to report this, the CDC is telling people to stay away from all vaping anything until they can get a handle on it, okay? So you have to put that in your articles if you're a news agency. That's responsible reporting. What you should be doing is pointing out early in the article that these have been tied to one thing and one thing only so far, and that is the illegal THC with the vitamin E acetate, which is solidifying in people's lungs. And it's not coming from over-the-counter stuff. That's what responsible reporting should be about this issue, but unfortunately, I don't think a lot of people in the press know enough about it to even rewrite the Associated Press's wire service on it.
Well, I think it's lazy reporting. I mean, because the CDC has already stated that they say most of it.
Right. They have about 90% that they can confirm. The rest of them are still lying to mom and dad that they don't do drugs. That's what we have.
Absolutely.
Right.
And the Australian, to talk on that real quick, I watched a few different Australian YouTubers that are vapors.
Yeah.
The reason why other countries are, following this story as well is because if the flavor ban happens in the U.S., that affects globally all vapors, not just the United States.
A lot of supply probably comes from here. Yeah, that makes sense. And by
everybody's worried about it.
And look, I was trying to tell people, like, okay, you may not think that vaping is healthy long term or whatever. Okay, fine. We got 20, 30 years of research on it, and nobody got sick. But you might think that long term, you don't know what it's going to develop. Okay, that's fine. I can at least, appreciate your opinion on that. However, for the love of God, can we get some mature adults to take a step back and go, after all of these decades, nobody got sick, and all of a sudden hundreds of people are sick miraculously after one change happened, and that is the illegal THC. Can we just get people to take a step back and admit that that's what's going on? And instead of blaming the entire industry, and then Gretchen Whitmer trying to sabotage the entire industry, and now you got politicians, including the president, trying to do it too. And none of it makes any sense. And if you don't want kids to vape, cool, I get that. Make it an 18 or older product. Okay, fine. But there's no reason to be running around and banning this stuff because, again, what are people going to do? They're going to go right back to smoking cigarettes, which is a heck of a lot more dangerous, and that is undeniable. The other option is they're going to start mixing more crap at home instead of buying it from a licensed manufacturer over the counter. And guess what? We're going to have more problems like this.
Absolutely. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Exactly. All right, man. Appreciate the call. Thank you much.
Yeah, thanks.
You take
Have a good
care.
weekend.
You too. You too. Roger, welcome to the program.
Yeah, how's it going, Casey?
It's going well, man. What's up?
Pretty good, pretty good. Timmy's on vacation, I take it?
Who?
Timmy.
Oh, Tim. Yeah, no, we killed Tim. He died.
Oh, you killed him?
Yeah, we killed him.
He was a really good producer, I thought.
No, Joe's the producer now.
I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Sure.
But we got this presidential debate coming to Notre Dame University.
That's correct. Big news today.
And the thing is, I think there's going to be a lot of protesters there.
I heard that there were protesters for the Attorney General today, and they kept having the cops called on them.
There's protesters for everything.
Yeah.
there's going to be a protest for everything. And, you know, I've been on your show many times, and I've mentioned my thing that I consider no lives matter.
Right.
So I'm wondering if I did a counter, and it's just a counter protest of no lives matter.
Yeah.
Do you think if I went there and did it, I'd get in a bunch of trouble?
Well, it depends on definition of trouble. Legal trouble? Probably not, but fisticuffs might happen. Have you seen what they did to the people outside of Minneapolis yesterday?
I did not see that. I will look that up as soon as I get off the phone.
Yeah,
with you,
Trump
sir.
had that
I
huge
respect your
rally
opinion
in
very
Minnesota.
much. I respect your opinion so much. I've told you that. I was the guy that wanted you to run for president not too long back. I don't know if you remember that.
I hear you. It's until you see all the tapes on me, but okay.
I've been on about 20 times, I think. I don't know. I try to be funny, but very serious too. But I try to use my humor and my funny too, because there's going to be a bunch of these different individual lives matter. And I feel that the only life that did matter was Jesus's.
Yeah.
Because I'm very religious myself. And, you know, we saw what happened to him.
Sure.
And all these people are like, oh, this life matters, this life matters, this life matters. And I'm like, no lives matter. Because what life does matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it. Getting them to understand it is a whole other ball game because you're going against the narrative. So if you do it, by all means, please let me know. Be careful, protect yourself. But
I wouldn't put out the call on your radio program, but hey, no lives matter. Let's go to the rally.
No, but I mean, if you wanted to tag it on Facebook or something like that, you wanted to stream some videos, let me know.
I don't do social media at all.
Fair enough.
I'm kind of like a recluse, kind of hunter.
Nothing wrong with
camper,
that.
You know,
nothing wrong with hating your fellow man. All right, hey Roger,
I do love Trump. I will say I do love Trump.
That's good. I guess
he is like the guy. Listen, real quick. He is like the guy in Shawshank Redemption. He's trying to drain the swamp, and he's the guy that's crawling through those poopy veins with a ramrod because the people that don't want the swamp drained they plugged it up.
That's true.
And he's the guy that's crawling through the poop that he's been hit with to drain the swamp, and they got all the drains plugged up.
That's true. Hey, Roger, I got to run. I'm on heartbreak.
All right, brother.
Thank you much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. We got more coming up. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
On your radio at 95.3 FM.
Online at 95.3mnc.com and on your smart speaker when you enable the 95.3 MNC skill.
Oi.
Casey Hendrickson.
Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Weather served up by the Prime Table in Niles. 26 years of exceptional food, tremendous service, and great people. Visit Prime Table today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialists, 5-day forecast.
Fall is really here as we have chilly temperatures for the weekend. Highs struggle to reach 50 on Saturday. Brisk and breezy. Wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour.
Yeah, that's just it, Alex. They attack when they leave.
We'll see temperatures fall into the low 40s Saturday night. Sunday, also breezy. A little warmer with a high of 58 and more sunshine.
Let's see what else
There
do we
on
have
Monday,
here.
56, mostly sunny. Then the next round of rain next Tuesday, a quick hitting system with a high of 58.
Jack and I did a bit one time in Vegas where he fired me on the air.
In the ABC 57 for
And
Well,
it freaked people out. It was so, my grandpa was like panicked and calling me. Yep, she's been on every day this week.
To the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service
Every day.
Yeah, I would not do that. And I would also not tell people that you killed off Tim, because Tim's parents could be listening and freak out.
Oh no, she's been on when we joked about it before. She gave me approval.
Not a fan of that.
Well, good thing you're not in my audience, John.
I know.
There are people who still think that Tim is still doing the board.
I know.
And
yeah, I've been called Tim 3 times today.
Have you? Yeah. Joe still gets called Tim all the time, and I even named him Communist Joe. Like, I figured a moniker would help people with it, but it hasn't.
Michiana's News Channel, which likes to talk
Base
to
Electric.
Casey.
Let us help you from the start.
And your first name?
Your current electrical systems.
And what would you like to talk about, sir?
The professional assessment that grows into a full-scale preventative maintenance schedule. Using advanced tools like thermal imaging cameras can help us.
What? Billy Joel's coming to town? Oh my gosh, I hadn't heard that. Yeah. About him being in the 70s? Oh, yeah. No, well, was it? No, it was in the 80s. In 84 and 96, I believe.
But he never played Notre Dame.
Really? Uh-huh. Yeah. What? Really? Okay. All right. Okay. Stand by. We'll get you on the air. Okay. Okay. I think I heard some of this yesterday. He promised Notre Dame he wouldn't sing "Only the Good Die Young" in his previous trips, but then did, and then there was a big S storm.
Is that why he hasn't been back in so long?
I don't know.
Huh.
But I think Notre Dame banned him or something. But now
Interesting.
it's all good.
Okay.
It's all good. They must have made up.
All right.
But
Well,
hopefully someday Shepard Smith and Tony Carlson will too.
really shepherding their whole starting lineup. All right, Ted's coming up. I'm gonna have to do my best to make this super, super fast. He can't be doing any stories anymore. I don't have time. Bill O'Reilly stole half my show.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He lost 20 pounds and dropped multiple pant sizes. He even got off all
So that's how you spin it.
his statins and almost got off his blood pressure.
When we have very short segments, yes.
Wow. Boy, it's just all coming out today.
Yep.
So why are you reversing your diabetes and telling the drug companies thanks, but no thanks? The answer is often related to information that's hidden from the type 2 diabetic community. A team of local doctors are releasing this information during a free diabetes dinner and seminar. Call 574-533-0770.
Is it wise to have diabetic information at a free dinner?
Well, it depends what they're serving.
And that's
If it's water,
just wondering.
If it's water, salad, and low-fat dressing, I think you're okay.
Okay. Just wondering. The Daily Wire's headline, breaking! Left-wing Fox News anchor Shepard Smith resigns effective immediately.
Well, it sounds like they didn't send a all email, like a all staff email, because it sounds like Neil.
It seems like a lot of people are caught off guard because I think he did it on his show.
Yeah.
I think he made the announcement on the show. So
it seems like they should have sent an email.
I agree.
Like not freak out the people who are going to be on the air next.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. We are doing open lines. Back to the phone lines we go. Hey, Ted, welcome to the program. But Ted, here's the deal. Because I'm so crunched in this last hour now, I got to have this be real quick because I got other people I got to get to, okay?
Okay.
All right. What's on your mind, buddy?
First of all, I bought you 2 books, Red Horizon and Disinformation.
Okay.
And I would like to give it to you and to read to see exactly what happened with disinformation on American soil.
Okay.
And second one, Katie Pavlovich. Katie is my mother's name.
Okay.
I have her book, Assault and Flattery, The Truth About the Left and Their War on Women.
Yeah, she's a great author.
I would like you. I'm going to read it and make my footnotes over there. I would like you to ask her to autograph for me and put the date on it. That's it.
I'm sure that she will be doing autographs. I'm sure she'll do that.
Yeah.
And you've been noise to noise before, so you kind of know how the format goes.
Yeah. I'm sorry I couldn't go to the VIP, but this time I had to pay my eyes because I have the lenses put in my eyes. Now I can't see without the glasses.
Well, I wish you the best on that. And it's not a problem as long as you're there, man. People always look forward to us taking a selfie.
I am going to start with a plebeian, with my prole.
Yeah.
My proletarian.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words. We got to roll. All right, Ted? Appreciate it, man. Look forward to seeing you at Noise. 574-2595, 95.3. Donovan, welcome to the program.
Good afternoon.
Hi there.
I wanted to talk about what happened last night at the Trump rally.
Yeah.
Okay. My question would be, okay, do those people not realize that they are probably playing with fire?
I don't think they fully comprehend it, no, because at this point, they've just been responded to with equal amounts of force. And by the way, Antifa generally loses with equal amounts of force. If you look at the times that people have resisted Antifa with equal numbers, Antifa loses every one of those fights. But one day, somebody's going to pull out a gun and they're just going to blast them all, man. And
that was exactly that was exactly where I was going to go with that.
Yeah. Now, I will say this, and some people have pointed this out on the live stream. Alex on the live stream said they attack people coming out of these rallies because they know they're not allowed to be armed at the rallies. So they know that they're generally safe. But there's going to come a time where somebody says, I'm not going to ask permission. And, you know, again, getting through security, probably not. But there was 20,000 people inside the arena yesterday. There was 25,000 outside the arena. So somebody who doesn't go inside the arena may get away with not getting a full pat down, and they may be armed at some point, and they're going to regret this. I don't want to see that happen, but they're pushing it.
Yeah, they are, and I don't want to see it either. But, you know, again, it's just like, again, John F. Kennedy, bringing up the whole idea that those who make peaceful revolution impossible make violent revolution inevitable.
Right.
And using that same logic, that those who make the peaceful dialogue impossible are going to make violent dialogue and all that other kind of stuff. It's gonna backfire.
Well, and Antifa has consistently upped the ante. They've obviously used explosions and guns in some instances, but generally at the protests they use pepper spray, urine, cement, rocks, things like that. However, one of the recent ones in Oregon, an Antifa member, came up behind a guy who was wearing a hat and was trying to stab him in the back. It was only a conservative camera guy who noticed it, who was able to stop it, who happens to be a veteran. He's the one that stopped it. Nobody else saw it. He was going to stick the guy in the back with a knife. It looked like it was a 3.5-inch blade. You know, they're escalating at this point in time, and eventually it's going to spill over more so than it has already. I know that it's spilled over, but I'm talking about full-blown, you know, gunshots and everything else, and it's going to be really bad.
And I think that's kind of what they're after, because there's some people that want to think that okay, well now here's an opportunity to take everybody's guns.
Well, sure. They start these fights and then they blame the Trump supporters for the fights. And if a Trump supporter is being attacked by 5 or 6 or 10 people and they pull out a gun, then they're going to say, see, now we need to be armed and we're going to bring guns too. And it's going to be a whole thing. It's just this constant mode of escalation. And it's that people are going to die. We know that people have already died, but people are going to die, and it's going to be awful. So,
and you know, the thing is, of course, I grew up, I was bullied when I was a lot younger, and sometimes, you know, I might have said the wrong things to set people off. And oftentimes when the authorities got involved, they'd be like, well, you caused your own problem, so now you're going to deal with it.
Yeah.
And I think that almost needs to be what happens to these people.
Yeah, it's a sad state, that's for sure, and I hope it gets better, but it's not going to anytime soon. All right,
Can
man.
I add one more thing?
Real quick, because I got to go.
Okay. Well, I have an AOC joke for you.
Is it going to get me fired? Because my boss is sitting right here. So you're either going to get deleted or you're going to get me fired, or it'll be funny. One of the two.
Oh, okay.
Whatever.
Well, I'm just got. Why did AOC stare at the juice can?
The juice can?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why?
Because it said concentrate.
Okay, that was funny. All right, Donovan, appreciate it. Thank you much. You take care. All right, you got option 3 on there. That was funny. Okay, James, welcome to the program.
So the big question is Billy Joel going to sing Only the Good Die Young, or isn't he?
Okay, tell me the background on this. John kind of explained it to me. Billy Joel hasn't been here since the 80s, right?
Yeah. See, I probably remember being in high school when it was the late 70s, but
okay.
He signed a contract to not sing Only the Good Die Young because it's sort of an anti-Catholic song.
Okay.
And he went ahead and sang it anyway. I think it was like the last song of the set. And they told him that he wasn't welcome back there anymore. He actually signed paperwork. It's on, you can Google it, it's on Wikipedia and everything.
So is this why he hasn't been back in so long?
Probably, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
So, like I said, it's on the internet if you want to look it up. The newspaper that Notre Dame puts out wrote a big story about it when it happened.
Really?
So,
okay.
Yeah. So when I first heard he was coming to town, I was like, all right, so what's going to happen now, and why did they invite him back?
That's a good question. Is the university more receptive to anti-Catholic policy since they allow a lot of people who are not very Catholic to serve in their faculty and speak on the campus, or are they trying to tell him that he can't do it?
Have you ever actually listened to the lyrics of that song?
No, not really.
Yeah, because it talks about the rosary beads and Catholics and girls and everything. And
interesting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I wonder. I'm going to look up the history on that. That's interesting. Glad you brought it up.
All right.
I appreciate it, James. Take care.
Right,
have a good weekend.
I'm on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
And I can talk about
definitive news source.
Yes, I know. Well, I'm not doing a newscast, so I'm okay to look at Wikipedia right now because Wikipedia is often wrong. So
as long as you can find it in the bibliography in an official source.
It says in the late 70s, while planning a trip to the University of Notre Dame, which he performed there in 84 and 96. So already there's a problem.
Okay.
It says Billy Joel played the song. Let's see. Joel signed a contract with the university stating that the only song he could not be allowed to play was Only the Good Die Young. He played the song 6 times in a row and changed the lyrics to include references to Notre Dame and St. Mary's girls. As a result, he had been banned from the university ever since.
So he didn't just do it in an act of defiance. He raised the middle finger at the University of Notre Dame.
According to Wikipedia. Which may or may not be right.
We're just going to assume they're correct right now, just like every kid out there doing their book reports. So interesting. So, yeah, okay. Well, 1996 is the last time he was here, though. Was that when that happened, or did that happen in the 80s?
Well, I don't know. According to Wikipedia, it was in the 70s.
Oh, okay. Well, so then he's been back a couple of times since. So I don't
know.
Interesting. It's a very interesting bit of trivia, and we'll certainly look into it. All right. We are on a time crunch. We've got more coming up here on Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
This is Michiana's.
Interesting.
News channel at 95.3mnc.com.
MNC News Time is 5:30.
Well, I haven't been banned from Facebook for typing Free Hong Kong yet.
Top local stories this afternoon. We know more about the additional fetal remains discovered in Illinois in the case of Dr. Ulrich Klopfer.
Attorney General Curtis Hill added more details to the story as the discovery early this week left a lot of questions. They were found in a car.
Billy Joel has performed twice at Notre Dame, in the Joyce Center in 1984 and the Stepan Center in 96.
But they're saying that happened in the 70s.
That's what they're saying.
Okay, hold on.
On Wikipedia.
The first remains discovered were sent to St. Joseph County for storage and processing. It's unknown if or when that will happen with the latest.
All right. Let's see if we can find this out.
Maybe they annulled his first. Maybe there actually was a first.
Cassius Allen Robenstein, better known as Al, passed away Thursday morning at an assisted.
Apparently, it was banned on a lot of radio stations too.
Sheriff in the 1970s, 80s, and 90s. Details
I think the song is from '78.
And the president of Notre Dame has re-elected to serve
the Stranger album in 1977.
Yeah, 1977. Okay.
Term on June 30th. Friday morning, the University of Notre Dame Board of Trustees elected him to a 4th term during their fall meeting on the campus. Chairman John Brennan said the president's insight, wisdom, and steady hand have allowed Notre Dame to expand its research portfolio and has fostered global growth for the school. Jenkins said that he was honored by the confidence the trustees have shown to him, and he looks forward to accomplishing more in the future.
That's 95.3 MNC's Tommy Lee reporting. News is powered.
Letter from campus, oldies and goodies from autumn of 2005.
So call or visit timbergranger.com today. MNC News Time is 5:33.
Fox News, I'm Richard Jordan. President Trump says the U.S. and China reached a substantial Phase 1 trade deal.
A tremendous deal for the farmers, a purchase of from $40 to $50 billion worth of agricultural products.
The president suspending next week's planned tariff hikes, the Dow up 319 points following today's news.
Former U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine Marie Yovanovitch appearing before several House committees.
We got a statement from the 3 committee chairs saying that the State Department told her not to show up today. So at that point, they had to take further action. The Intelligence Committee issuing a subpoena this morning compelling Yovanovitch to comply. So the committee chairs and ambassadors now cooperating with the subpoena and answering questions for both Democrats and Republicans and staff.
Fox's Mike Emanuel Yovanovitch says she was removed because of unfounded and false claims that she was disloyal to President Trump. America's listening to Fox News.
Weather sponsored by
The Prime Table Kids.
I can't find it in the history of it. But Only the Good Die Young shows up in the searches for Billy Joel and Notre Dame.
Now, your home comfort heating specialist first warning forecast.
I'm looking at like song facts and things like that, who go through like the history of the song. So those articles are showing up, but they don't have any reference to Notre Dame.
Sunny, but brisk and breezy with highs struggling to reach 50 and wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. In the ABC 57 first 20.
It's interesting.
Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tom Poole.
Well, he did say the student newspaper wrote a thing about it at the time.
This is the Fox Business Report.
All Wall Street stocks rallying
It says, according to Reddit, it's out there, but it's just a rumor.
Okay.
With the president saying,
Cell phone footage or it didn't happen.
But they're quoting Wikipedia. They literally took Wikipedia word for word.
Okay, so let's do the smart thing then. And let's see if Wikipedia has a link.
Robert Lighthizer said that there has not been a decision on tariffs slated for December, and Chinese technology giant Huawei was not part of the preliminary deal. Among the Dow winners today, trade-sensitive stocks, Caterpillar, 3M, and Dow, with the Dow rising 3.
Okay, so the Wikipedia claims of this happening at Notre Dame have no citation in the bibliography. They were added.
You see them all around town. Cintas trucks.
The claims were added to the Wikipedia article in February of 2007. There's no citation of sources confirming that it happened.
Programs handles their apparel solutions and helps keep their facility and restrooms.
Well, if we interview them, then I guess that's a question to ask.
Facilities and image.
So we can't find any positive proof that it actually happened.
All right, you should follow up on the air. Like in one sentence, and then move on.
What time do I have to break? 43?
I don't know. What time do you normally break?
42, 43.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Do I have any reads that I need to know about?
No, I don't see any.
Okay.
Deliver you an unmatched dining experience that changes every week to fit the time of the year and is moving.
Brad's quoting the lyrics.
Yeah, I know there's a lyric in there about Catholic girls.
Yeah, you Catholic girls start too late or something. Yeah.
I've never. I mean, I like the song. It's got a nice beat and melody to it, but I've never actually listened to the lyrics.
Yeah, I had a Billy Joel phase when I was a teenager, but I don't remember any of the lyrics for any of it.
Unforgettable dining experience, because life is too short and the food is too good to break bread in a bad mood. Pepper Grill, food with attitude.
I like New York State of Mind.
He's got a lot of great catchy tunes that if they come on in the radio, I'm happy to listen to. I just don't buy them.
Tell her about. That's a good one.
The solution is Lock Monday Fast Track.
I like Allentown.
Lock Monday Fast Track takes you from shopping to driving 100% online and at your convenience.
A few others I like. I saw him perform once. He was good.
I'll bet he puts on a good show.
Oh yeah,
he's been doing it long enough.
Simply schedule a time for your vehicle to be delivered to your home or office. Wait, still want to test drive the car first? No problem. Schedule a test drive at any time. We're happy to help in person at any point. The Fast Track is only at LockMonday.com. Shop new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, GMC, Buick, Chevy, and Ford models. Plus all makes and models of pre-owned vehicles for every budget. Over 700 vehicles. Get on the Fast Track to your next.
Just think, Casey. In less than a month, you're going to be sitting at a table like that with Katie Pavlich.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find.
We have tables?
A haystack. Sure.
Well, no, it's the same setup as last time, only bigger.
So I won't be sitting at a table with her. I mean, unless she comes to dinner.
You could be sitting on the sofa with her.
Usually have me off to the side.
Do we?
Yeah.
No, that's where you usually just go.
No, you usually tell me to go on the side, and then you have the big stars in the middle. Yeah.
I don't remember.
Mark and I flank the big stars who are on the couch.
You get qualified candidates.
Christine's going to sing the national anthem again.
Yeah, you told me that.
Okay.
She did a beautiful job.
And you're not going to read the
needle in the haystack.
Pledge?
Yeah.
I'm not doing the pledge.
No. You didn't do it last year, did
No,
you?
I didn't.
Yeah.
No, because it's like my nightmare.
Yeah.
I hate doing it.
And I told Christine,
Like
don't put your personal spin on the anthem. Just do it normal.
Like the one time that I did it publicly here, I screwed it up. Too much stage fright for that crap. I'd rather sit on the side of Katie Pavlich anyway. It's easier to eyeball her.
Shame on you.
In a respectful way.
Shame on you.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. That is 2595-953. Somebody requested Chili Peppers Californication from the Bear in text messages right now. What is wrong with them? Ugh. It's like the worst song they ever made. I mean, it's an okay tune, but it's the worst song they made. Anyway. Somebody sent me a text that says, me and my foursome always go non-VIP to noise. We will invite Ted to sit with us. So, Ted, you look for 4 people. Well, I guess that would be 5, right? Me and my foursome, so maybe 5. Look for 5 people who are congregating together, and they may be the ones who are inviting you to sit down, Ted. So we may have it. Speaking of noise, 95.3 MNC and Final Phase Electric are presenting the 4th annual Noise on Saturday, November 2nd at Center 615 in Elkhart. Let's be honest, what other plans you have are probably going to be really lame. So join us. Special guest this year, Brian Kilmeade from Fox News, and of course, Katie Pavlich, known from townhall.com. She's on Fox right now, actually. She's on the 5. She's been on all week. She's a phenomenal author, too. She has a really good column. She's a great pundit when she's on the news, and she's fantastic. So we're really excited to have her. I've requested her for a number of years. We tried to get her. This year, we were able to get her, and it's going to be an absolute joy to have her. Brian Kilmeade and his people are thrilled that we got her. She is great. Absolutely fantastic. General admission tickets are on sale now for just $40. We do have a group rate for parties of 10 or more, and each attendee will receive 1 copy of Brian's brand new book, Sam Houston. Hopefully, we'll be able to talk to him about that next week. And tickets are available at 953mnc.com or during normal business hours at the MNC studios at 237 West Edison Road. You can pay cash or card if you come in and buy them in person. And again, that is Saturday, November 2nd, presented by Final Phase Electric and 95.3 MNC. Ladies and gentlemen, in further proof, voice just cracked on me. Woo, weekend could not have come fast enough, John. Further proof that communism is the superior ideology when it comes to government platforms. Cuba is urging its citizens to eat banana peels. Now, not because banana peels are healthy, but because banana peels will help you with your humor. Communism. More coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Weather served up by the Prime Table Restaurant in Niles. Does your family or group meet regularly for breakfast?
Tables
for your next gathering.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialists, 5-day forecast.
Fall is really here as we have chilly temperatures for the weekend. Highs struggle to reach 50 on Saturday. Brisk and breezy. Wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. The wind chill mostly in the lower 40s. We'll see temperatures fall into the low 40s Saturday night.
Gotta love communism.
Also breezy. A little warmer with a high of 58.
I mean, they do also say that you can rub it across your forehead to cure a headache, too. So there's that. Just in case.
With a high of 58. Partly cloudy, some clearing on Wednesday with a high of 50. In the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tom Coombs.
Hi, this is Dwayne Miller with Good Faith Management, and I buy houses cash.
If you own a house and want to sell it fast and for a fair price, call me at 574-294-5678. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and in any location. I am not a realtor or associated with any realty company. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy even more. Call me at 574-294-5678.
Damn. My voice just straight up conked out. Just like that. Yes, banana peels.
If you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs, great, because I love buying damaged houses too. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a
It's it's special. I'll give them that. It is special.
That's 574-294.
Yeah, the real reason is they are getting food to Venezuela.
Hi, I'm Chris Kramer from C. Kramer Interiors.
But go figure.
The entire purchase, the selections, the finishes, we coordinate it all. We hear a lot that, there are so many options, it gets confusing, we're not sure what to do. We help guide you through that process. We don't dictate. We listen to what you're telling us. Okay, I want a sofa that's 78 inches, I want it this. And a lot of times we'll say, well, we'd really help if we saw the room. We'll come out to the house and help you put just that one sofa. We can help you find the sofa. If you say, I want the whole room, we can coordinate everything. But we work with you through that process. It's not our taste. It's not necessarily what we see. We're trying to give you a finished product that reflects you. Come in, look at what we have, see what we have to offer, and we would love the opportunity to show you what we can do.
Fall sale, saving from 35 to 70% off floor models. Stickly 40% off stock and special orders.
Message and data rates may apply. Please do not text and drive. See purple.com for terms and conditions.
And now for an important announcement. Do you, or does someone you know, sweat the bed? Do you ever wake up feeling like you've been sleeping on a slip and slide? Sweating the bed is a serious but a common problem that affects your sleep, health, and happiness. Plus, it's just plain gross. But it's not you. It's your mattress.
I love Purple's commercials, man.
It's called Purple. Purple is the only mattress with a scientifically engineered smart comfort grid. This patented technology is designed to let air flow freely so you sleep cool. Side effects of sleeping on Purple include sleeping better, feeling better, and, well, honestly, smelling better. Try the Purple mattress risk-free for 100 nights.
It helps if you don't have a spouse that turns the heat up in the middle of the night.
Free Purple product with your mattress purchase by texting Trial to 84888. The coolest sleep of your life and a free Purple product by texting Trial to 84888. That's TRIAL to 84888.
Chances are you can remember your best decisions. Buying that car, having a child, getting away from the rat race, if only for a little while. Now you can add another decision to that list.
How long?
Moving to a Trilogy Senior Living community. When you make the move to a Trilogy Senior Living community, you'll feel good about your decision. We guarantee it. Visit trilogyhs.com to find a community near you.
Prepare your home for the Rush Limbaugh Show. Weekday afternoons, noon till 3, exclusively on
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, your breaking news and weather station.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Don't forget, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel by going to youtube.com/CaseyTheHost, twitch.tv/CaseyTheHost. Subscribe there. Jeez, I can't even speak anymore. You can also follow me on Facebook at Casey the Host, Parler at Casey the Host, and on Instagram at ASD Knives. Mayor Pete Buttigieg, who's running for president, don't you know, expects to receive a consultant's assessment of police practices and operations before he leaves office at the year's end. He's going to ask the City Board of Public Works to approve a contract for the review at its October 22nd meeting. The Common Council in August granted the administration's request to appropriate $180,000 for the analysis by Chicago-based 21CP Solutions about 2 months after Sergeant Ryan O'Neill, who the paper had to remind us is white, fatally shot a black theft suspect, Eric Logan, in a downtown parking lot. So 21CP Solutions is led by Charles Ramsey, black former Philadelphia police commissioner who co-chaired a national task force formed by President Barack Obama to make the recommendations to police departments on improving their community relations, which is generally seen as something that hasn't panned out all that well. It's ironic that they're based in Chicago, but I digress. So the mayor wants to make sure that he is able to get police reform recommendations before he leaves office. No doubt to have that in hand to pass it off to whoever takes over as mayor when he leaves office. And did you say it was a reporter for another local channel was like, wouldn't it be something if Mayor Pete was the nominee and he'd be able to walk over to the debate at Notre Dame?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's going to be on a plane to Salt Lake City. That's where the vice presidents are going to be debating for their one and only debate. That's if he gets anywhere, but he'll probably be in attendance regardless, I would assume. He'll still be in power, after all. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, get your tickets for Noise at 953mnc.com over the weekend, and make sure you follow me on social media. Be safe, enjoy yourself and your family. It's now time for Bill O'Reilly and the O'Reilly Update.
So usually Joe does it. And usually Joe does what I just did.
What's that?
And went 10 seconds early at 59:50.
Oh.
Usually Joe does it.
Well,
and I remember, but now I went at 59:50 instead of 50.
I got a reminder that says show ends at 5:50 p.m.
Yeah, it does. I went with the old time.
Well, what can you do? It's been a trying day.
It has been a trying day.
I tried to work and do a show while I was running your board.
That was difficult.
Hey, it was a good show, except for the part where you lied about me like a vicious
I didn't lie
bastard.
about you. I am a vicious bastard, but I didn't lie.
You totally lied about me.
I did not. You didn't let me explain or finish anything.
Bad manager.
I did not make you seem like a bad manager, just an uncaring.
I'm a bad husband and I'm a bad father, but I am not a bad manager.
Boy, I really struck a nerve. Jeez. All right, folks, you got about 30 seconds, maybe a minute or so, if you want to have any questions, you want to get anything out, but I appreciate that. Thank you for the extra support on Twitch this week. It's been fantastic. I really do appreciate it. Oh, they have no toilet paper there, too. That's true. Brad's pointing out that banana peels can be a tropical wet wipe. I mean, it's like banana and Nutella.
I don't think I want a banana anywhere near the part of my body.
Just the peel.
Oh.
Since you can eat the peels to improve your humor. Communists.
Andrew Johnson and Bill Clinton, neither were convicted in the Senate. If Democrats vote to impeach Donald Trump, here's what will happen. A simple majority in the House.
I read an interesting article from a libertarian today who was talking about how the Trump legal team was wrong about impeachment, and then they had to update the article and point out that they were right about impeachment. That was an interesting read today. Thank you, B-Dubs, and Sam, and Frank, and Mom, and Brad, and everybody else who is still here. Thank you very much again. I'm going to go ahead and bounce out of here. And again, enjoy yourself. Be safe. The weather is going to be a little crisp this weekend, but it's going to be crystal clear tomorrow. At least that's what the weather is calling for, kind of 50 and clear. So it'll still be an interesting day. Probably a good day to get some of that yard work done, too, before the fall hits and the weather starts really turning. So thank you, Anthony.
Boy, you're
you
a
too.
test master.
What? I'm in measure twice mode, man. We just did winterization and fall projects today. Yeah. So, all right. You all have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you on Monday.